Oh my god!
Stop it! I said I wasn't a troll, okay?
We don't care. Here's another one. We don't care. Here's another one.
Whoa, guys, what?
Finding new Pokemon, finding new gym leaders, new towns.
Oh man, it's so
fascinating.
And then it's non-canon.
Really weird.
Fuck anyone who says otherwise.
It's a classic. It's a classic to me.
To these creatures.
they're definitely some of the most interesting creatures.
Infected. I created.
Pokemon was the last vestige of my childhood.
It's just super chill.
I see you. You trill today. Let's go. I'm invested.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
This is Silph Radio Live, and I'm becoming increasingly uncomfortable and unsure of what to do with myself in those few couple seconds before I start talking. This is Silph Radio Live. Silph Radio Live is a live show that is a spin-off of Silph Radio, a Pokemon podcast. That is a podcast that is about Pokemon, that is on secretroommultimedia.com, that website you see up there, which is my website. I'm Nathan K., the host of Silph Radio Live and Silph Radio, a Pokemon podcast, and joining me today to help me play Pokemon Leaf Green is my great friend Andrew Spohn from Amusement Sparks podcast.
Hey everybody, it's good to be here. Hope you're doing well.
It's wonderful to have you here. I've missed you.
Yeah, I was on the first live stream, and you've been doing a whole bunch since then. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, 8th episode already, which is super exciting. The last 2 have been spent level grinding, and I don't know, chances are I probably need to do more level grinding, but I'm sick of level grinding, and people are probably sick of watching it, judging by the fact that no one is in the chat right now. So hey, Nerdy Paragon is in the chat. What's going on, man? How you doing, Devon? Excuse me, do you have a ticket? Yeah, I got a fucking ticket. I got a bigger problem with, does the SSN really need to be operating during coronavirus?
Too real.
How you been, man? I've missed you.
I've been good. A lot of moving parts recently, I'd say, but overall things are good. I don't know. I feel like days getting shorter. By the time I get home from work and do my business, I'm it's almost dark out already. I don't know. Kind of feeling the fall. Although I do love fall. Fall's my favorite season, but I also love having time and sunlight.
Yeah, I bought a new bicycle this week.
Oh, dude! Wow.
Yeah, and it's a mountain bike as opposed to my other one wasn't, so I took it up exploring the biggest fucking... It's this area, it's called Skytop Quarry, and...
That sounds like a Pokemon town or something.
It's like a Pokemon adventure. First of all, it's huge. There's tons of forests. There's a giant canyon. It's the Grand Canyon of Syracuse.
Wow.
There's this area with a few abandoned structures. Steve, what's going on, Steve? Good to see you in the fucking chat. Failing already? I haven't even done shit yet. Ooh, Snorlax. I guess I don't have a Snorlax for him. And there's also these abandoned dilapidated structures that are covered in graffiti, and then there's this area with big clay hills and little jumps to take your bike off of. It's a blast.
Wow. That sounds so cool. There's a this pathway underneath Indianapolis that my cousin's gonna go with me soon. We're gonna go ride bikes under there, but I think it's 2 miles long, and it's completely pitch black. It's some kind of drainage tunnel thing that goes underneath downtown. But yeah, I've heard there's some interesting graffiti down there. It's I think a 3 or 4 foot path before it slopes off into where the actual water is running by. And it's just pitch black. So you just wear a high powered flashlight. And I'm so stoked to go down there and just get spooked out and go for a nice little ride.
Yeah, this sounds like the best and worst time of year to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's basically, I don't know, it's kind of like going into Mount Moon or something, I guess. Without Flash.
Yeah, no, that's it. Really is like you say that, I'm like not joking though. Like while I'm up there, like I am sort of feeling like this is Pokemon. Like I'm living Pokemon right now.
That's so relatable to me. I hear the bicycling music in my head whenever I like go out on just a leisurely bike ride. It's ingrained in who I am. You know, I don't know. Maybe I don't know why that is, but I love the spirit of adventure in Pokemon. And then whenever I'm adventuring in real world, it's like, oh, it's like Pokemon.
Yeah, it's not as if like the people who made Pokemon were inspired by the real world. No, it's definitely the other way around.
Yeah, what a weird like perversion where the things that inspired them we don't even think as existing anymore. It's like, no, nothing existed before Pokemon, and Pokemon is all.
Right, it's like
the source of everything.
It's like, oh man, isn't this kind of like Pokemon? What, being out in the woods? No, Pokemon is kind of like being out in the woods, but that's us. Steve and Devon, how's your guys' nights going? How are you enjoying the impending fall? And also, I want to show everybody something. Especially you, Andrew, since, I don't know, you're my guest host. Since you're sort of obligated to engage with it. Dude, check this shit out. So, the coolest thing, like, a lot of cool fucking things have happened to me as a result of this podcast. This being one of the coolest, this fucking whole show, and getting to know you as one of my best friends, like, a lot of cool things have happened. It's not a competition.
Right.
But, Friday the 13th fan films. And the new Chucky fan film, it looks so amazing. I can't get this dude to watch Alien, but he's gonna watch all the Friday the 13th fan films. He's like, I already know what happens in Alien. Yo, I bet you I can guess what happens in the Friday the 13th fan films. I'm just playing.
Good point, though.
No, that's great. But one of the coolest fucking thing that's happened to me was that a few listeners of the show have sent me art that they've made inspired by the show, which is
no way.
Which is head exploding emoji to me. Like,
I mean, I always loved that when you would post like fan art on Facebook back in the day and stuff. I mean, you might still do that. I never check Facebook anymore, but I always had a connection between fan art and Silph Radio anyway, but seeing like Silph Radio fan art,
awesome. I do still do that on the Facebook. It's one of my favorite things to do, like, because there's so much great Pokemon fan art out there. So good. I'm gonna try and suit up. Man, it's like one of the best movies ever made, Steve. But this first one was, I can't believe it's been 2 years now. It feels like yesterday. But one of our listeners, I reached out to her then, so I assume it's still, she actually like does art for a living. So if you want to commission art from her, Emily Shaika, look her up. You can reach out to me, and I'll link you to her professional account. But she did this inspired by the fanfic that I wrote that we read in episode 51. This is Joey and his Rattata. I do want to become famous. Oh my god.
Ooh, a link. Oh, I can't wait to click it.
I said I do. Let me give me a chance to respond, bro.
No, that's two different people. They're just very passionately collaborating on.
Well, I don't know which one of them I should shoot. Which one of them's the real
Wait, ask a question that only the real bot would know.
Oh, yes. 0100101000011. So, yeah, this is Joey and his Rattata up at the top of the hill, watching the Stantler. So fucking cool. And like, just wow. Like, wow, to have written something and then had somebody else like illustrate it is of their own like volition, like without being paid to do so.
Yeah, incredible. That is so cool. And it's really interesting artwork too. I like that there's like texture on the grass, and The colors are really cool.
Yeah,
That's good
totally.
stuff.
You're right. Like it's like almost like it's a different type of paper.
Yeah,
Like, yeah. Oh, I love it. And
that's so
then,
cool.
a really great, a really great, I don't know what I'm trying to say. A really great piece of art from a listener that a lot of you might be familiar with here on the live show, Zestbomb, who's been in the chat pretty
Mhm.
regularly on the live
Since
show.
episode 1, I think.
Yeah, big,
Uh-huh.
very active on our social media. Like, his name's Aaron. He's a great fucking, awesome
Well, he
person.
invented the drinking game, right?
He invented the drinking game. Yes, he invented the
Yeah, the
drinking
coffee
game,
drinking game.
and he illustrated my Pokemon team for me. Which I'm sorry. Let me get rid of this. I'm gonna get rid of the chat for a couple seconds here, so we can really,
Are you
really enjoy
serious?
this. Yeah, I'm gonna put the chat
Aaron did
over
that?
you, Andrew. No one needs to see
Dude, what?
that. Look the
The Silph Radio
fuck
logo?
at this,
Oh my
dude.
god.
Oh my god. So there's the team. You got Farfetch'd, Raichu, Gloom, Slowbro, Umbreon, and Chandelure. And then
Wow.
I think this is supposed to be missing no right here.
Did you see the on-air
Yes!
sign?
On air
That's-
written in the there's so many details in here. It's fucking incredible. Let me check chat,
I
see if
am
anyone's
blown away.
I don't know. I don't want to like completely miss you guys in chat, but I want to make sure that this is showing up. All right, Mary Jane all day. Yeah, I agree. Wonderful. Um, and then over here is the what's it called? The Salazzle, Dark Shaggy's Salazzle.
Oh, wow, I didn't
Uh,
even see that.
so many details. An iPod Classic here, Shroomish mug of tea or coffee. Um,
Is that a clef key set of keys down there?
yeah, and then these books.
Pretty cool.
This isn't the highest quality scan that I have here, but I do have a higher quality scan that I specifically clipped of this bookshelf here because the details. Oh my God! So we've got first of all, little Baba Dratini. I'm a little Baba Dratini, like which from KFC that
Yeah, I had that.
yeah, that I love so much. Um, we don't even train here, which is a spin on the POS album. We don't even live here. We got the Grookies, which is like the Gorillas. It's a Grookies album.
Cute.
This is the art for Broken Social Scene's self-titled album right here. Down here we've got Pal Park instead of Jurassic Park. We've got Marquise Wolford on this book spine here. We've got the Pokemon Shining and the Archaic Revival, a Terrence McKenna book. TM50 on Elm Street, TM50 Nightmare, of course, Staryu Wars.
Oh my god.
Just oops, fucking incredible.
That's so cool. Wow. Yeah, that is so much care. That's so much attention to detail.
Yeah.
Man, that guy could go pro on his artwork too. Dang.
Yeah, not a stalker, just a hey man, he loves Silph Radio, and what can I say? Who could blame him? It's a good show. I like it too.
Hey, free-minded one.
Hey, what's going on, Aki? How you doing, man? He went exploring with me at this fucking giant Pokemon fucking region a couple days ago. So fun. So I don't know if you guys listened to the most recent episode of Silph Radio. I apologize for it if you have. I figured tonight we would try to outdo ourselves. And so I got some 195 proof, or some, 190 proof, sorry, 190 proof Everclear. I'm just kidding, this is not to drink.
Okay.
I have that
To clean
because...
windows.
No, I'm making some magic tinctures, actually.
Wow.
Yeah,
Magic.
what's going
That's
on,
a
man?
strong word.
Yeah, magic with a K, my friend.
Mm.
Talk to this guy so much. He's like, what? How many times do I have to say this to you? Competing against the young keeps me youthful. Yeah, okay. You had to make it
I always-
creepy.
I always loved walking into the rooms for some reason. Like, I like in Pokemon the art style how the rooms are so little and so like dollhouse-like, and then SSN really feels like a dollhouse because there's so many little nooks and crannies to explore. I don't know, little vignettes.
Yeah, do you think that's kind of like Japan? I mean, aren't kind of rooms like very compact in Japan?
Sure. At least on the like lo-fi hip-hop video images I see.
Oops, not what I meant to do. Pancake. No, paralyzed pancake. This is my favorite Bare Naked Ladies song. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about anymore. Phil destroying people's teams. Yo, they were savage. And I was like, I drank too much to like properly defend. I think I did like my due diligence, like defending his team, but like, damn, they were fucking savage, yo. Luke, I'm sorry. Like, we love you. Please don't stop listening to the show. Going Sunday. I'm going apple picking Sunday, but I don't know what time you're going. Perhaps I'll meet you up there afterwards. Don't worry, I'm gonna exercise proper social distancing. I'm pretty serious about that stuff. I just kind of exist in my house. Alone. Not going crazy.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, Twitch keeps you sane, right? Or, social media can be that, for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely not changing into an utterly unfamiliar person. Yeah, Devon, have you sent you just recently sent your team, correct? We will get to it, and I will try to get Phil on. If you're requesting it, then I will try to get Phil on that episode.
You could just have a corner that's like, or a segment that's like Phil's corner where he just separately records diss tracks for everybody's teams.
Right, whatever the topic is, he just talks about why it's a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just like any given particular Pokemon, like... Yeah, Growlithe is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
SSN is really one of the most extreme examples too of like weird scaling in the Pokemon games. Like the boat itself is like 2 squares wide, and then you get on and obviously it's enormous. It's so weird. Like I don't know why they drew it like that in Red and Blue.
Yeah.
In this game it's a little bigger, I think. Or I don't think you even see the boat from the outside in this game, do you?
Yeah, you see it from outside when you're approaching it, for sure, because you can still surf and find the truck. Like, they duplicated the fucking truck. They know, man. They're fucking with us, dude. They had no reason to put it there in Fire Red, Leaf Green. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's a good reference or whatever.
Well,
Easter
sure.
egg.
Sure, I just mean, like... I'm just saying, I'm like, they clearly are aware that it's there, like they duplicated it.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Right. Definitely intentional this time.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like that kind of stuff. I like when they kind of wink at the camera, or like on The Simpsons, they're like, wait, didn't you do this already? Like they'll reference some episode from like 10 years prior. I love that stuff.
Yeah. You know what I love about The Simpsons is that when an episode starts, you never know what direction that episode's gonna take. That direction.
Yeah, the first act is just gonna get you somewhere else.
Yeah, that episode could evolve in all sorts of different directions. Do you see what
like
I'm doing there?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
I'm attempting a segue. You asked a really cool question that we thought would be a really fun conversation starter on Silph Radio Live, which, if it's cool, I'll just pass to you. I don't want to mischaracterize. I'm interested. I'm curious. I want to know more what you meant. More.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Particularly. Oh yeah.
It was about evolution.
Like what direction something would take.
Yes, a direction a thing could have evolved into.
Yeah.
A different universe. Okay. All right, everybody, close your eyes.
When you're a
The
kid,
year
you love
is-
Bart. When you're older, you love Homer. That's so true. Like, yeah, I love Homer so much more. Like, yeah.
I don't know. I'm prejudiced against adult men anyway, but Homer's just such a jerk sometimes. Lisa's my favorite and always has been. But
Yeah.
then again, I'm like a soy boy, so you know.
Lisa's fucking great. Lisa is definitely the best character like on that show. Homer, there's a term for that. It's jerk ass Homer. Like,
It is jerk ass Homer, yep.
yeah, certain writers like to characterize him way more negatively than other writers.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a comedy show. It's not like they're trying to make ultimate, perfect, lovable character show. Like, no one would ever watch that.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely not.
So you gotta, you have to have someone who's kind of dumb and drives the plot forward, and Homer definitely does that. Oh yeah, sorry. You can wait. Keep your eyes closed. Okay. The year is 1998. You're hearing rumors about a thing called Pokemon, and it's a video game. And you go to your local store, you buy it. It's like your birthday or something, and you put it in your Game Boy and turn it on. It pops up a screen that says Pokemon, but what follows is totally different. Okay, you can open your eyes. We were just going to talk about what if Pokemon had evolved in a different direction based on, Satoshi Tajiri's original concepts and like kind of sketches and stuff. What could have been, a different Pokemon?
When I do
reality.
poorly in this episode, I'm just gonna blame it on him and be like, Andrew said to close my eyes. I still had my eyes closed. I did see when The Simpsons met Family Guy. I wasn't watching either of the shows at the time, but I had to watch that because like that's such a huge event in the history of pop culture. I can't miss that. I'm obsessed with pop culture. Did
that's
you,
huge.
Andrew? Did you see that?
I didn't actually. I've always loved Simpsons and have never liked Family Guy, so I didn't give it a chance.
I liked
so
Family
sorry.
Guy when it first came out, and I was like 14, and I've really gotten sick of Family Guy, but I was still interested enough to have to see that. And my opinion was that it would be so much better if it was half as long, because they made it an hour-long episode
Yeah.
instead of a half hour, and there's so much unfunny, unnecessary shit in it, and if they had cut all that out and just left the good shit in it, I probably would have been like, wow, that was better than I expected. But instead I was like, it had a couple funny jokes.
It was a Family Guy episode, right? Like Family Guy staff wrote it and everything.
I'm pretty sure they collaborated, or they like passed it back and forth or something.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Or wait, no. I think you're right. I think it was more Family Guy staff, but the Simpsons staff did have some involvement though.
Okay, cool. Like, I bet they had approval or something. But it's just like, like when they did Spider-Man versus Superman and there was a Marvel book and a DC book of it, and they had separate outcomes. I wish they had done that, where like there's the Simpsons episode featuring Family Guy, and then a Family Guy episode featuring the Simpsons, and they're different. That would have been really cool.
That would have been, yeah, I agree. Come on, you got this, Sumatra. And then, yeah, you guys, we got in the chat wondering about, on the topic of Pokemon taking a different direction, what if it was more of an action-adventure game rather than an RPG? Which, the two are not necessarily, mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
But
On
rather
other
than, like,
hardware,
turn-based, maybe, is what you mean, maybe?
that's the same kind of thing I was mostly thinking of. Is it felt like those initial like sketches and stuff, and even watching the anime is also like this, where there's a lot more freedom and like kind of creativity to it and less rules. Whereas the game is a traditional JRPG. It's like kind of all about rules and taking turns. It feels kind of forced. Like those mechanics don't serve the world or the story that much. It's more like they have world and story that they kind of jam into the mold of this gameplay model that doesn't necessarily do it 100% justice.
Yeah, although I still like have that thing I always come back to, that I love the way that some of those limitations encourage imagination. But
Yeah.
but no, I mean, well, when you asked me the question, I couldn't help the major place my brain went to. It was something that branched off, like a tree into several different ideas, but I think they were all sort of in the same vein of if the game after Kanto or after Kanto and Johto, so either after Gen 1 or after Gen 1 and Gen 2, sort of like drew a line in the sand there somehow, and rather than continuing to keep do these new generations where they introduce a new big batch of Pokemon, like had been like, we've established this world, now let's do like in the same way that like Zelda like very frequently reuses a lot of the same like races. Not to say that they don't do new things, because Pokemon would of course keep doing new things, but maybe if after that they had like, maybe if Gold and Silver were called Pokemon 2, like they were originally going to be called, and then in Pokemon 3, rather than being a new region, it was like, okay, we've got our region, it's Kanto and Johto, now what are we doing to make it new? Or like if they did Pokemon 64, and it was like, here's the 3D version of what we just did on Game Boy, or...
I love that idea, and like reusing some of the assets so then you can explore different areas, because I think now so much of the work that they have to do is making the new monsters and programming in the new monsters and the animations and stuff. But like, if all those people could be working on more story or more customization or something different, instead of needing to inject so many more Pokemon every single game, it could have a lot more steam to go in different directions.
Yeah, and like
the Cook led to success for sure, and maybe it wouldn't have been a hit if they had done these weirder things in Gen 3, but yeah, it would have been cool.
Charles. I'm definitely happy that we get a new batch of Pokemon every gen. That's what I think I would prefer out of all the options, because I want to get a new batch of Pokemon every gen. That's the most exciting thing to me,
Yeah, that's true. We are obviously fans of Pokemon, so we're not like mad at what it is, but there's also, I don't know, those initial sketches to me just felt like, or maybe what if they had made the video game first? I'm sorry, the anime first, and then that was a totally like blank canvas thing. They can do whatever they want with the anime, and then they had to make a game based on that. It might have done things differently too, with a little bit more flexibility, like different kinds of gameplay mechanics.
Yeah, like if the next game wasn't an RPG, or if the next game... Yeah, or if they started doing different things with just 150 monsters, in the same way that like Mario's got their cast of characters and they very rarely add a new one. Like Pokemon Go-Kart with 150 different racers.
Oh man, that would be cool. Or even a game like Pokken Tournament, or Pokken, however you say that, or Smash Brothers, but it's all Pokemon. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
I was also thinking even just like a kind of like a Grandia 2 type of thing, like still an RPG, still technically turn-based, but each character has like a little speed gauge, and when it gets all the way around, they get to attack again. So a really fast Pokemon would attack twice as fast as a slow Pokemon, for example. And you can run around the field, and if you're fast, you can dodge attacks manually, like in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild or something. Wind Waker has that too, I guess, where you can like dodge out of the way of an incoming attack, instead of it just being numbers and stats and this gameplay system.
Yeah, and I know I keep coming back to the ideas of what they would do with new Pokemon, but like, what if they, like, having, like, if we're moving forward just with what we've had here, like, into new different types of gameplay and stuff, like you're talking about, but still using these same Pokemon, but still wanting to do new things, I could see it taking a direction in the way that like Digimon just endlessly progress, that there's like new levels of evolution upon evolution upon evolution upon evolution. And if it was like we discovered an evolution past Charizard, past Raichu, as we're like moving into new generations.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the things that they've changed, like adding in like mega evolutions and kind of the regional variants are really exciting. Like that stuff's really fun. And I do think the games are getting more kind of action RPG-ish, which is what I want anyway. Like Sword and Shield, I think just that concept is really cool. And seeing where this franchise will be in like 15 years, that's pretty exciting to think about. Like, you know, it'll probably be what we dreamt of back in the day, like what would N64 Pokemon would be, which was not exactly Pokemon Stadium. But I do like Pokemon Stadium. But, you know. Yeah, Pokemon Go-Kart. That's a really funny name in the chat. That's great.
And with 150 different racers, they could do that if they're not, like, incredibly different. Like, if it was a little more basic, like...
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think you would have certain archetypes, maybe. Like, maybe there's only 8 actual racers, and they each just have different skins, basically.
Yeah, or, like, a different for each type or something.
Yeah, there's maybe one stat is affected by type, another one by which evolutionary stage, or no, it should be by size, I guess. You know, the bigger your Pokemon is, the more like Bowser it is, and the smaller, the more it's like Toad. That'd be awesome. And the power-ups could be based on type? Dude, this should be an episode of Silph Radio.
Yeah. No, that could be like, oh, that could be so great. And like, that's something that I could see having like, that really does feel like something that would have come out early in the development of it, you know, like as it's taking a different direction. Like, I like that a lot.
I just think that'd be so cool. Also, the tabletop RPGs, which I think you and I did an episode about Pokemon board games, and I mentioned offhand the tabletop role-playing games, which are unofficial fan creations that are awesome. But to me, that was like when I really first felt engrossed in the Pokemon world while playing a game. Because before that, it was just when I was running around in the woods, looking at my Pokemon cards, like imagining that Pokemon were around me. But playing the game never made me feel like I was in that world all that much. I don't know. It's like the things I wanted to feel about being in Pokemon usually happened when I wasn't holding the Game Boy.
That makes sense, for sure. Yeah, Vital Spirit. Fuck yeah, shake that shit off, Tay-Tay. It's also interesting to think that they might have done things like, okay, these are our Pokemon. Team Rocket was the threat in these first 2 generations. What's the threat in this next generation? It's got to be something more serious. Maybe it's the evil spirit world, and now there's like 100 new monsters, but rather than Pokemon, they're like the evil spirits, and like Pokemon are all like the 150 are all still the, like, just thinking of it becoming an entirely different thing, you know, like,
yeah,
from what we know it as, but still having those same beginnings, you know.
That's a cool idea. Like if they had gone kind of in different directions and kind of done a Digimon type thing and done like a Yokai Watch type thing, maybe. That's fascinating. And also it'd be cool if they explored different time periods. If they had one set in, you know, feudal Japan, one set in like the far future. That'd be so cool. Which those are basically, there's knockoff Pokemon games that are a lot like that already.
I've always wondered if the franchise will ever legit go to space. And like, you know, it also makes me think of like another thing that's really like really immediately comes to mind to me is like, fuck yo, Ivysaur.
Good luck.
Is if rather than solidifying itself as like an all ages appropriate thing, it really did become more serious. I don't mean it has to become more mature and gory and bloody, but like as it made the transition into 3D, they were like, okay, the Game Boy was giving us crude representations. Now, rather than little cartoons, let's draw these creatures more realistically, you know? Yeah,
that's like your favorite Pokemon movie, right? Detective Pikachu is your the execution of that. That'd be cool. Or if the series matured along with the initial us Gen 1ers, the ones who actually matter, you know? Kind of like Harry Potter, like how the reading level gets a little bit more difficult and the stories get a little darker over each progressive entry. That would have been cool.
Yes.
Oh,
I know.
do you have any
Charles.
items?
Charles. I do.
This is last Pokemon?
Yeah, well, no, I can heal someone. Who do I heal?
That's a question for
wait,
the
they're
chat.
dead. Sumatra or Pancake? Oh, fuck.
Dude.
Charles, you son of a bitch.
And yeah, in the chat, you guys were talking about Ni no Kuni. I love that game. I love Studio Ghibli, and it is definitely like, what if Studio Ghibli made Pokemon, basically, mixed with like Dragon Quest, I guess. But that's such a cool world, cool game. I think I either heard this or it was a dream. Either way, it sounded really cool that they were gonna make a Ni no Kuni movie.
Oh,
which I'd be into.
please. Do
Yeah.
it.
Even just watching a Let's Play or watching the cutscenes from that game were really cool. Like, I started it on a rental and I didn't finish it, so then I just like watched someone else finish it, and it was pretty cool.
See, rushing through this game and being distracted while I'm playing it is adding a new challenge that I haven't experienced in a long time. So I like this. It's like the drama of actually being in the Pokemon world and not just breezing through everything. And then, yeah, Nerdy Paragon brings up a good point that there are a lot of Pokemon from space and space-oriented Pokemon. The franchise has dabbled a lot with space, with Mount Moon, Clefairy, Deoxys, Rayquaza, and we may have even went into space a little bit. I don't know, but I mean, if there'll ever be like the region is actually in space, the game itself is set in space. The majority of the game.
Is it like it just the International Space Station in 2020, or is this like 2500 and like you have your own spaceship and it's like Star Wars or Star Trek?
Could you imagine? It would be a lot more, I would imagine, a lot more like Star Trek than Star Wars. Maybe not as a mixture of the two. Star Wars is like that casual society, and like Star Trek is too like formal and military. But Star Trek has that utopian vision, whereas Star Wars has this grimy vision. So take that like utopian, cheerful people helping one another, standing up for what's right, like that feeling of Starfleet and Star Trek, and then add that to the big exploration of this world that like Star Wars gives you, and of like the everyday people, and then having a Pokemon region that's set in space, like
That'd be crazy.
But yeah, like you said, a space station, it wouldn't be. I don't see there being like different alien races that all train Pokemon, or do you think it would be better with like Vulcans and stuff?
Ooh, I mean, I
Maybe.
like that idea, but that makes it a whole different franchise. Like, if it's not just that there's 100 and however many new Pokemon, but there's 6 new races of humanoids who are Pokemon trainers.
What if there was only one, and it was just like Vulcans with pointy ears, something simple like that?
I
don't
like
know
that.
how I feel. It's fun
That
to
adds
think
enough
about it.
excitement, I think, to make it. You could have cool stories and you could
Amazing.
explore their culture. You could have, dude, instead of going to different towns, you're going to different planets, and there's like the gym leader on each planet is like, you know, the king of the world or whatever. It could be kind of cool.
Yeah, or different space stations. So like, it might
Yeah.
work better with them being just humans in space with Pokemon, and maybe they're discovering new Pokemon that live in space, but humans are still just humans. I don't know. Like, going into space itself is a big leap. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. Maybe if like the different areas were like, you start on the planet and then you go up into the space station and there's like the 2 moons or something and like another space station and another planet and then that's it or something. I don't know.
You wouldn't have much room for walking around and encountering wild Pokemon in a space station.
That's true.
You know, unless they're raised in captivity. You could do Jurassic Park in space, but it's Pokemon.
Maybe you do travel in a spaceship, and the way Pokemon battles happen is they attack you while you're traveling in your spaceship, and then you battle them. Because the space Pokemon are different from Pokemon we know. They all live in space.
Wow. And they eat the space food and everything.
Yeah, I don't know. Space food. Yeah, sure. Yeah, space food sounds. Space food sounds good if we're talking about like food from space, but if we're talking about like freeze-dried astronauts, actually that sounds good too. I like.
I just mean that there's
stuff.
like nothing out there for them to graze on or whatever. I guess you have to evolve to be carnivores if you're in space. But how do you move? How does organic life move in space without technology? Is it possible? Wow.
Like Princess Leia.
Yeah, but she has the Force. So I don't. Do all Pokemon have the Force and they can just kind of swim around or something?
Yeah, no. I would imagine if you're running into Pokemon in space, that's. I wouldn't think too hard about it. I would just be like, okay, these creatures developed in space, and that's how they exist. He was mentioning cosmic type. That would be very interesting. A space type. I always wanted like fairy type almost to be kind of like moon type, but cosmic. That's interesting.
And then you can have different evolutionary stones from different planets, like the Moonstone. I mean, obviously the moon is not a planet, but that could be kind of cool if maybe every Pokemon has multiple evolutions depending on what stone you give them or what planet you take them to or something like that. I don't know.
Yes. I can leave the ship so long as I don't go to the captain, right?
I think so. Actually, I don't remember. Shoot, man, I don't know.
I think so. I'm pretty sure. So
I can't believe you won.
I need cut. I can believe I won because I believe in my Pokemon.
The heart of the cards. Oh yeah, there's the SSN. It's still tiny. Like it's 4 times as big as you, and then it has like 20 to 30 humans inside.
Hey,
of it.
what's going on, Sam? Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, you're quite alright.
Good to see you, Sam. I think I saw you when I was rewatching one of the streams and didn't realize when it was live that you were in the chat, and I was like, oh shit, Sam's here. I miss you, bud. It's good to see you, man.
What's on your mug, by the way?
Disgust from Inside Out.
Oh, cool.
And then on the other side it says, don't talk to me.
It kind of looked like a Gardevoir from far away.
Oh, that would be cool. I don't have enough Pokemon mugs.
I've only got one, and it's
thanks,
definitely a bootleg.
Ooh, I like bootleg Pokemon stuff.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Pokemon, yeah. On the other hand, what if Pokemon died first gen and didn't evolve? What would the world be like then? And there's just like people like us who like we're still obsessed with it.
If it was a cult classic instead of a perennial children's favorite.
Yeah, or like Chrono Trigger. Like people love Chrono Trigger. I'm sure people would still love Pokemon if that happened.
You're right. And then then they could have made a very experimental sequel like Chrono Cross. A few years later that would have made everyone mad, but also have been some interesting take. I would have been down with that. I mean, I'm sure the Pokemon Company would rather make a bajillion amounts of money, but I would like to see a weird version of Pokemon.
You know what I would fucking love? Oh my god, I want this so bad. I want a RPG where you have multiple your party is multiple different trainers, and you can switch out which trainers you have in your party. Like you switch out party members in Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit. Also, was that your mic? I don't know what that was.
Yeah, that was my mic. Sorry, I hit it with my water bottle cup.
Oh, so you have different trainers that you can put your party together, and then those trainers can each have their own Pokemon team. And so when you enter a battle, they each send out one Pokemon, and then you can choose to focus, since like in an RPG you have your different characters fulfill different roles, like healer, fighter, mage, you can choose to like have, does this trainer have a bunch of fire Pokemon? And then this trainer has a bunch of water Pokemon, and so when their fire Pokemon gets sent out, I can send another one. Or do they each have a balanced team so that if I need to, I can send out multiples of the same? Or do they each like have like a few of each, or do split between strategies? And you sort of like, it's simplified a little since you're choosing multiple trainers, each with their own teams of 6 Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, yeah, rather than like in most RPGs, you decide which stats you want to focus on as you level up each character. You're instead deciding on how to build each character's team.
Yeah, that's a really cool idea, and I would like it if the trainers already came prepackaged with their team, like take it or leave it. Like you can't tell them what to do, but you can enlist them to be on your team. And then I think that's really cool. And there is a mobile game. I think I texted you about this maybe a year ago, Nathan, about how I was like obsessed with this at the moment. It's called Pokemon Masters. It's still going strong and everything, but I just got out of it. But you choose 3 humans who are Pokemon trainers, and they each have 3 Pokemon, and you can kind of like level them up in different ways and stuff. It's an interesting game. It's a cool change to the Pokemon franchise that's more maybe mobile friendly, and you have this kind of collectible mechanic of getting all the people, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love all the like art assets that I've seen from it. I gotta look more into it. It's really cool.
It has a cool story too. Like I would say it maybe has as much story as a regular Pokemon game. Just on this mobile thing, and this was a year ago, so maybe it was 9 months ago. So I'm sure the story is much more evolved since then.
Yeah, and I love something that gives those human characters that are so important to me, and I feel like other big Pokemon fans, but that have never really had a lot of representation in the franchise, you know?
Yeah. It's a pretty cool storyline, as I recall. Because you, as the player character, are a human, but you're not a Pokemon trainer. It's interesting. It's an interesting thing, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have other thoughts of how else Pokemon could have gone a different, taken the road less traveled?
Hold on. Come on, Tay. Yeah. All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean,
there's so many different conversations to be had based on when it branches off, Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally true. And even if they like, what if it had stayed in Kanto and Johto, and they were introducing new Pokemon but not new regions, or maybe they did eventually, but rather than becoming a formulaic thing, it was like, okay, Pokemon 3 is about like the invasion of the evil dark spirit Pokemon, and then Pokemon 4 is like distant lands, and then that's the first time they show like another new region, and like I don't know.
That would have built up more hype, I think. Like if it was longer between new Pokemon coming out, kind of like we were talking about like the Legend of Zelda metaphor. If like, the Ocarina of Time is actually Pokemon Red and Blue, and then the Majora's Mask is just using the same assets, same area, but telling a really wild story. And then the next game just kind of starts over. Like it's basically like they do it. One game is the kind of serialized, like the normal episodic thing we're used to, and then the next year they do something wild using those same assets, and then back and forth they get to experiment some, and then also do what really works and makes them a lot of money, and that could be kind of an interesting way of trying it.
Right, and we don't have to like treat it like formulaic, like, all right, every other generation we add a new, but like it could just be like, okay, we've added Johto and Kanto, do we have any other ideas that we can set here? Do we have any more? No. All right, let's make another region, and then we do another region, and now we've got Hoenn, and then there's another game that goes between Hoenn and Johto, and then like I don't know,
Yeah, but I mean, there's so many other little like game types you could do too. you know, in those kind of oddball games. There could be stealth segments, there could be dating sim elements. Like, you could do all kinds of different things with the exact same graphics. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, it really would. I would love to see. I love, like, franchises like this are so big that they can encapsulate so many different genres, and that's wonderful. Like, most video game franchises are like that, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, like, stuff like Pokemon, Star Wars, Star Trek, like Batman, you know, like, you can just imagine so many different, like, genres and tones that you could, like, tell stories of in those worlds. Pokemon dating sim. Yeah, I'd play a Pokemon dating sim.
I meant that as you're dating the humans, but when you
Yeah, me
put the
too,
word
me
Pokemon
too.
in dating sim, maybe you're playing as Pokemon. Maybe it's like a mystery dungeon game. Who knows? Hello, Steven.
If you had to date a Pokemon, Andrew, what Pokemon would you date?
I'm not gonna answer that on the stream. Didn't we? I think we were making jokes about this in the first episode. You being married to one of your Pokemon or something.
Oh,
like
were
that.
we okay? I know you don't want to make the other, like, 999 Pokemon jealous, so.
Yeah. You gotta catch them all, right?
Gotta catch what all the diseases?
Sure.
Andrew caught Pokerus.
Oh, jeez. Not again.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, there's so many things you can do within the Pokemon world. Like, not everyone is just a trainer. Like, we had an episode of Silph Radio about this, about the different, like, trainer classes being their own gameplay experience. That'd be so cool if in, you know, the one game you just play as the Pokemon trainer, the typical hero's journey. The next one, you can get a job doing whatever you want to and kind of build up your stats as a specific archetype of person in the Pokemon world. Or you could just run the Pokemart, which I've always wanted to do for some reason.
A Pokemon breeder game would be such a wonderful game for, like, something aimed at, like, casual gamers, you know. And it's breeding in the sense of in the Pokemon world, where breeding really refers more to, like, animal husbandry. It includes grooming, taking care of the animals, but also
so
breeding.
It's a dating sim, and then you can make a Pokemon your husband.
Yeah, but breeding, you don't breed with the Pokemon, but
Okay.
you can breed them, you can raise them, you can take care of them. It's like a virtual pet thing where you have a bunch of virtual pets, and you could train them to do certain things and interact with them, and that could be like a really fucking great thing.
Yeah, seriously, that could be really cool. That piece of the
VR. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, what?
VR. It would be the greatest for VR, but go on.
Yeah, I'm picturing almost like, I think the game's called Slime Rancher. I don't know. Just it'd be cool to have the Pokemon breeder, you know, lifestyle thing. Like when Brock kind of mentions it in the show, it seemed so cool, and it's like, are we gonna see Pokemon breeders and what they do and how they learn about Pokemon and stuff? And I don't think it's explored too much. You'd have to ask Brianna, I guess.
The breeders, yeah, they explored a little bit.
Wow.
You fat.
That's a tight battle right there.
For real. We're so on an adventure, just raising stupid ass kids. People who chows.
Oh yeah,
Sonic.
chows.
People would kill to raise a Pokemon. Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially people that would buy a Nintendo next gen system.
Yeah,
they know
VR
what they're.
would be really cool.
They know what they're getting in store for. Lot of casual games like that. Fuck you, Nidoran. No offense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and something that I've been thinking about. Poison gas, okay. What do you guys think? Do I want to erase something for poison gas? Hypnosis, disable, or confusion? I can't erase headbutt, it's my only...
This is probably just me being basic, but I never used disable. But that's
Yeah, I
just
don't
being
either.
basic.
Fuck it. I don't ever use poison gas either, but fuck it.
Yeah, I don't even know what poison gas does. I didn't even.
55%
yeah.
accuracy. That's terrible.
Please. I don't get out of bed for less than 70% accuracy.
Yeah, that's a I will never use that. I don't even know why. I shouldn't even have disabled or remove disable, but fuck it. Sure, I'll be your friend. But something I've often thought about, especially a lot lately, as I keep talking about on these shows, is what if the Pokemon card game developed in a different direction, like from conception?
My dude, yes.
Yeah, and I've been thinking a lot about that lately, and what I've been thinking most recently is the idea of what if your deck was built around the idea of having 6 Pokemon. So, like, these Pokemon are kept separate from your deck. And your deck has your items, your moves, your trainer cards, your arenas, or whatever, I don't know. And
moves? Like attacks?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. But like the main idea being that your Pokemon all have, like, you have your 6 Pokemon and they are separate from the deck, and you are choosing at any point which one you have out. And maybe there's dice that keep track of their health, and they and like, I don't know, we'd have to determine how do Pokemon do moves, but I was thinking moves could be something you draw from your deck, and like,
I like that idea.
Yeah.
There's so much. I have put so many, probably hundreds of hours into thinking about Pokemon in a new card game, because I love the franchise, obviously, and obviously I'm disappointed with the card game a little bit. So this mechanism is something I'm kind of working on for a different game that's kind of inspired by Kirby and Metroid, or Mega Man, if you will, where you're kind of taking an element from the opponent and using that to empower yourself. But in this case, what if the Pokemon, you've got a little card that has, let's say your September has a card, and it just has like a big water symbol or something, and no attacks listed. But then you draw a card that's like, let's say, physical attack, and then if there's like one specific attack on there listed for each type, or there's an attack for these 3 types, a different attack for those 3 types, and then like you just kind of match it up and do that attack. That would allow for some randomization and for the attacks to not be on the Pokemon's card but in the deck. But you don't get screwed over if you're just drawing the wrong kind of attack that your Pokemon can't use. And that would make it more like the TV show too, where they can have more than 4 attacks maybe.
Yeah, like what you're using throughout the battle. And I got good news for you, Sam. That is exactly what we're doing.
Wow.
I don't know if we're going to sell it or anything, but I mean, that's what we're doing verbally, at least.
Yeah, and on the episode of Silph Radio where we talked about Pokemon board games, we kind of prototyped a new game, like a board game almost, that uses the existing Pokemon cards as a component, which I still love that idea too.
That was a great game. I really want that game to exist.
Right?
But
it's
one thing
I want to keep working on it. It was cool.
One thing that was really worrying me about the card game was like, well, if you have 6 different Pokemon, how are you like in Magic, if you're using all 5 colors, it's going to be impossible to like draw the right lands, or in Pokemon to draw the right energy. But like, then I was like, well, no, that might be a good thing, because it would encourage people to build, like in the world of Pokemon, not everyone has a well-balanced team, because not everybody can be red. And that would encourage people to build a more realistic team that was based around, it doesn't have to be one type, but maybe they have a couple electric Pokemon and then a couple not electric, but that their deck is really heavily leaned towards electric. Or like, maybe we can incorporate into the game ways to help, like, even if they're technically different types, having Pokemon that all live in caves or something. Like, there can be like cards that deliberately make it easier to have a deck that has a Paris, a Geodude, a Zubat, and I don't know, not Mewtwo, but whatever.
Yeah, I love that idea of having each of the Pokemon available, just like you would in the Pokemon world, where you can just reach on your hip and pull out a different Pokeball and swap them out. And they're all already there. Because in the current Pokemon TCG, like, are you also catching Pokemon the whole time? Like, turn 1, you have your starter Pokemon, and then by the end of the battle, you have, I don't know. It's so abstract compared to the Pokemon world. I love that idea.
I think you're playing one of those fallers that's going from universe to universe who's outgamed the game, and so they've just got this laptop and can access their PC of like every box filled up with every Pokemon they've caught in every alternate universe.
That makes sense. I like that idea a lot, Nathan. That's really cool.
Oh, thanks.
I think one of the main things that's frustrating for me for playing Magic and Pokemon is getting like running out of energy or running out of mana or whatever. So there's several other games that have kind of solved that problem by having a separate deck that is just the energy cards, and maybe you get to flip one over per turn. So it's like you draw from your regular deck and you draw one from the energy deck or something like that is a pretty easy solution for that. But I also think kind of embracing that almost, or making it part of the game where which Pokemon should I start with? Well, it's the one that is ready to battle, meaning I have the right cards for it in my hand and it's got a type advantage or whatever. You'd be able to switch out your Pokemon so much too. I think such a strategy or a reason why I think I usually lose when I do lose Pokemon is the trading card game, is that I don't have another Pokemon to send out.
Yep. And I was thinking maybe it wouldn't be, if we determined too that you couldn't just switch out and you had to go, all right, I have 6 Pokemon, but they're going to defeat them in a succession. So I'm going to send one out, and I can't switch it until it's defeated. And then my opponent does the same, and we just go through them one by one. So if you get hit with a type disadvantage, oh well. But I don't know, like whichever would work better. But I was just thinking maybe the way moves could work is you have moves in your deck, and you would attach those moves to Pokemon, and any Pokemon could have 4 moves at a time, but you could always replace them, and then they could do those moves. Each turn they would have an opportunity to do one of those moves that's attached to them or something like that.
That's cool. And so do types not matter for like which Pokemon can learn which attacks?
That's the tough part to figure out, because like you have to have Pokemon able to use attacks that aren't their type. You don't have to, but I would think it would be good to, so that then stab bonus could be a thing, so that when a fire Pokemon does use a fire attack, it gets double damage. Like, that's a good thing,
Well, if we're gonna make this game, then why don't we make it a knockoff of Pokemon where there's only, say, 6 types, and maybe like 2 of each. I don't know. There's 2 different types that can use all of. Wait, what am I saying? Each one has their own type. And then on the cards, like the attack cards, there's 2 different types that can use each one, or something like that, where it's a little bit more flexible. Or
What
maybe
if
3 different types can all use this attack.
This is weird. I don't even know if I know how to express this right. But like, what if type wasn't what we expect it to be, in the way that like when you make a Pokemon card game, if you're familiar with card games, you automatically think, okay, so type is going to be analogous to color in Magic. So there's 5 different colors, and those are like the forests, the swamps, the islands, green, blue, black, red, and white. And what if in this new Pokemon game, type wasn't even treated that way, and each Pokemon card did say its type, fighting, grass, fire, electric, and the moves said their type, and you got stab bonuses, but the Pokemon wasn't treated as a fighting type card. It was a Pokemon card, and that's what it is. And it says that it's this type Pokemon, and that does have an effect on gameplay, but it's not like this thing where it's like, oh, well, that's a fighting type card. Does that make sense?
I love that idea. Yeah, and that using stab, that basically solves the problem of not having any attacks that Pokemon can use. You can put it on there, they just won't get an additional bonus. That's a great solution.
Yeah, but I feel like we would still have to have some limitations. Like, you can't give Tay-Tay Fly, you know.
And maybe certain cards will say that, like, can only be used by, or those are called like something else. Those are called like type moves or something like that.
Would it be unreasonable if there were some type of system where it's like, okay, in order to perform this move, the Pokemon needs one of the following. And then, like, it would list on each Pokemon cards what they have. So, like, Tay-Tay would have, like, tail, strong arms, 2 legs, or something like that. And then, like, certain moves would be like, look, if you don't have wings, you can't use fly. Like, and then, like, maybe certain Pokemon would have exceptions. Like, if there is a Pokemon that flies that doesn't have
that could
wings.
be like in Magic. Flying as a keyword. Boom.
Right. Oh,
That would
yeah.
totally work.
Maybe certain
You know,
Pokemon can be equipped with certain moves already, too.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Maybe when they evolve, they already have 2 attacks on there. When their basic form has 1, if it evolves once, it has 2, and when its final form, it has 3, or something like that. In addition to whatever maybe TMs or HMs you teach it.
Ooh.
Them, sorry.
Yeah, you could have. What if your 6 Pokemon always had to start at their lowest evolutionary stage, and their higher evolutionary stages would be in your deck? And so you could devise ways to try to get them out of your deck when you need them by using certain cards in conjunction with each other. And
Well,
then,
that's like the current game, like, kind of. You also have to find the basic Pokemon in your deck, but that does make more sense. The Pokemon already existed when you started the battle, but they can evolve during the battle. That fits in the canon all the time.
right, like maybe not 1-to-1, because every time you start a new game, your Pokemon's unevolved. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then it could. The benefit of like choosing a Pokemon last, like the drawback is you don't get them till the end, but like the benefit is you've had time to save, to gather cards from your deck, and you may have already found their evolutions and been holding them, and you're like, alright, now that I've built up enough cards to switch in Drowsy, now that I've got all these psychic attacks and I've got Hypno already in my hand, bam, Drowsy, bam, evolve it to Hypno, bam, it's got Psychic, bam, you're dead. Like, I did that all in one turn because I've spent the whole game building up these cards while you were beating
And maybe it's a lot harder to evolve. Like, maybe you have to hit more requirements than in the current game, which is like you could just find it turn 2 and evolve it. I think that'd be really cool, like if you really had to fight for it. And speaking of that, where it's not really realistic that after the battle you start back over with a basic Pokemon again, I had this dumb idea that would never work, but in my fantasy world, this would be a real thing. It's where you have, let's say, Pokemon. You're playing the trading card game, and then after your deck has been used a certain number of times, or you've won 40 battles with this deck, you mail it into the company, and they send you back another version where each Pokemon is stronger. And you can't buy any of those cards in stores. You only get it through, basically, Pokemon League play or something like that. So basically, you're interacting with the manufacturer to get exclusive things because you've been training your cards, with your friends or whatever, or in a Pokemon trading card game league. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, and you're right. They would never do that. But
no, but we could.
Oh, such a cool idea. Such a phenomenal idea.
It would make more sense as a digital game, let's be real.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, but whatever. We're just talking. We can make, if we're going to make stuff up.
Yeah.
Might as well go the
Might
full
as well
mile.
have fun. Yeah. True. Oh yeah, sorry if I'm not doing as much match commentary as I should be. It's hard to watch both. It's hard to like be engaged in watching the game and also in the conversation.
You're telling me, man. I have hard enough time. Please.
I was just gonna say, on podcasts, we're used to either looking at each other's faces over the webcam or just a black screen where you're just in your own head the whole time. This is a lot more going on. Like, I feel like I'm hanging out on a couch watching a game, but also having like this deep podcast tier conversation. I'm not used to having both at once. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and I hear you. I have a hard time not just being absorbed in myself and now I'm being asked to A, listen to the person I'm having a conversation with, B, keep up with chat, C, pay attention to my Pokemon,
Right.
D, host a show. Yeah, no, I kid. I've brought this up a few times. I've been having a fucking blast with these. This is great, and I love that it gives me an opportunity to do new Silph Radio stuff in between the actual episodes, which is like...
Yeah.
This is just as fun in its own way to me. Like, the episodes are... this doesn't take the place of the episodes to me, and it never could, because, like, I really love putting so much research into it and, like, preparation into it. Like, I can never come up with all that on the fly. A lot of the stuff in the episodes is come up with on the fly, but because we put so much work. But, like, this is, like, a social event to me now every week, and I love it.
That's so cool. Yeah, I love it too. I always look forward to it. Like, I don't always watch your streams live, but then I'll just watch the video later. It's nice to have on in the background too. It's
That's
a little
great.
like less intense than a podcast. Like, sometimes I'm at work and I want to listen to a podcast, but like whatever I'm working on is a little bit too intensive. Like, I actually have to like write emails and stuff. It's like I can't quite handle a podcast, but I could watch a Twitch recording right now.
Yeah, it's much more casual, like hanging out. I'm saying things that like the younger generations are like, yeah, you're an old man. We know this already. Like it's like we're sitting here like, I like the TV. You can actually see what the characters are doing, unlike on the radio. Like, yeah, that's what TV is, Grandpa.
Oh, that's so good. Dude.
But yeah.
I've got a random question.
Okay, I like those.
What do you think about like social media if it had been around when you were like in middle school? What would have happened?
I'm so glad it wasn't.
Me too.
So like, I mean, as far as if you were to ask me, what do I think of social media, like, and its effect on the world, I'm very much a fence sitter of like, I think it's like the best and the worst. Like, I think it's the reason we were able to get like Barack Obama in the White House, weed legalized almost across the country, gay marriage legalized federally, but then I also think it's why Donald Trump's in the fucking White House and Nazis are suddenly like open about being Nazis. So like, but as far as if I would have wanted it and when I was in middle school and high school, oh my god, I'm so fucking happy it didn't exist.
Yeah, because I don't know, I had a lot like in my head. I was putting like pressures on myself to be creative and like keep up with like being productive on my free time and stuff. But if I had like felt like I had an audience for that and it wasn't just in my head, like I had enough anxiety just being me and trying to make myself happy. If I had like felt like I had to perform for an audience all the time, it'd be really rough.
Oh, just like to never Nerdy Paragon, I see in the chat. I'm about to get to you what you're saying. I want you to know I'm not overlooking that. But like, yeah, the inability to escape the bullshit of all these people that I don't want to interact with. Like, would I have even been friends with them on social media? Even if I wasn't, I feel like I would have been on some level of obsessive about whether or not there was a dialogue about me going on social media, and like the inability to escape the people that I got to escape every day. Oh my god, like the inability to escape the dumb bullshit that I said that should not be preserved on social media.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why kids these days like Snapchat instead of other things. It's like, it's probably not conscious. They're probably not choosing to like Snapchat more, but it's like, it's pretty disposable. Your grandkids aren't going to make fun of you for this because they'll never know about it. You won't even know about it in 2 years. You know, it'll just be ancient history that nobody has remembered or nobody has screenshots of.
Yeah, right. And like, if you're less woke last year than you were this year, like it's not as big a deal.
Oh yeah, and you change so much and you shed your skin so many times through like middle school and high school and college and hopefully beyond that too, to where you're not that same exact person. Like, I think going back to your old Facebook pictures should be a little bit groan-inducing because you've changed so much, you know? I don't know. Maybe not pictures. Pictures are okay. If you go back to your really old posts, they should be a little cringy, I think, because you should
with
have
a big
evolved.
mustache. Have you seen me with the mustache?
No, but I'm looking it up.
Oh no! Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't do it! Yeah. Oh my God, my old pictures on Facebook.
I've gone through so many appearances. Like, I really wish I would have saved some up in case I ever need to go on the run. But there are pictures of me in basically every form that a white human male can appear.
That's a lot. White people be changing the way they look every couple months.
Hey, you know it.
Can't keep up. Y'all motherfuckers say black people all look the same. Well, you look different every time I turn around.
Oh, man. So, okay, the reason why I bring that up, I've just been stewing on that a lot recently. Like, I don't have a teenage kid or anything, but I used to teach a lot of them. And I'm like, man, they all have social media all the time. And I just feel like so much of the stuff that we see, at least as adults, like news about teens on social media, it's completely negative.
Sensationalist in a negative way, yeah.
Yeah, but I do think a lot of it is negative, even if it's just like additional pressure on you. But then again, you would have connection to your friends with you all the time. Because like, we didn't even have cell phones growing up, you know? Like, we got to go home and get on AOL Instant Messenger to like catch up with friends, but that was only for like an hour until I had to go eat dinner and do my homework and stuff. It was not constant. And so that's a plus, I think. Always having someone who's there for you. You know, if you're like really bummed out, you can be texting 20 people within 10 minutes if you want to.
Having an avenue for self-expression, like, oh my God, like somewhere to put, like, you wonder why people put passive-aggressive like statuses on Facebook. It's something that like we all like feel ashamed of if we engage with it, and we're all like roll our eyes at when we see someone else engaging in it. But to have that avenue of self-expression, to be able to post something passive-aggressive, or even not passive-aggressive, but just expressing your emotional state in that moment, whether that state is I feel fucking good about myself, or I'm really scared about the world, or I'm in a bad mood and I want to be a cynical jerk. Like, even if sometimes maybe you shouldn't take that, and maybe you shouldn't be passive aggressive on social media, just the fact that you have that avenue of expression makes your life feel a little less suffocating. So like, there are definitely positives, like even in like, there are negatives about the things that seem positive about social media. There are positives about the things that seem negative about social media.
That's a really good point. And that's a very nuanced perspective. That's awesome.
Thanks.
And yeah, Snapchat does remember, like, they keep the stuff on their servers, which is pretty scary.
Agreed, Steve. Your sister notwithstanding. Ooh, my bad. Hold on. Let me slow down on the Jameson. I mean, trying to have a repeat of episode 93. Or are we?
Yeah, I do think these kids, like Gen Z, and on Amusement Sparks, we talked about this on our Black Lives Matter special episode, was like, Gen Z kids know what's going on, and like they're going through adult traumas and stuff really early on and coming out of it as like warriors, like knowing what is right to do and acting on it strongly. It's been really cool to see that, you know, even just this summer. Seeing that generation doing amazing things that I would have just like been like, oh shucks about, or like I wish people would do this, but not taking the first step towards.
Yeah,
interesting.
It is. Like, I'm all about this younger generation, man. Like, everyone hates on the younger generation, man. Fuck that, dude. I talk shit about everyone, so I talk shit about the younger generation. But like, I fucking love them, dude. Fucking bless this younger generation. They're fucking great.
Yeah.
They're way more woke than any of us have ever been, dude.
You know what's weird too is like you hear like the expression of like kids grow up so fast these days because they're like dating real quick and everything, but it's kind of a regression to like 3 generations ago, when you would like drop out of school, or school would be over after you're in 8th grade, and then you're married by the time you're like 18. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Things are just changing. Like, the invention of the teenager happened like after World War II. There was no such thing as like a teenager before that.
So weird, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think like a rebellious youth, like as youth start approaching adolescence, they get a little rebellious, is a thing. But like,
Yeah.
teenager as a social convention made it a thing. And
Right.
like, I feel like, hold on, when we were talking about the generations, with the new generation, damn, I just had a really pertinent, like, salient point that just, like,
Growing up too
evaporated.
fast?
No, about them, being, about the new generation. Jeez, I had it, and of course this is a live show, so I'm not trying to waste time trying to think of it. But, it was about it was about this newer generation being, I don't know, whatever.
Maybe you'll remember. Maybe it'll come back.
Maybe, because I saw it, I thought it, and then I saw the comment about being exposed to everything at once, and I'm trying to use that to rekindle it, but it is what it is. But yeah, no, I love it, and this that's what I was gonna say. This generation, that's what you have to do, is once you let go of something, it'll come to you. This like the greatest generation, that's what they call the people that killed Hitler, which is like great.
Yeah.
Like, fuck yeah, y'all killed Hitler. Like, I like that. Like, well, okay, y'all bullied Hitler into killing himself. Even doper, even more punk rock. I'm sorry though, but like, okay, cool, I see you. Your generation killed Hitler. That's pretty cool. To be fair, I would expect any generation that existed alongside Hitler to kill him and or bully him into killing himself. This new generation, this new generation wasn't content with taking down Hitler. This generation had to also take down that which they loved. And I think that's a wonderful thing. I don't mean that in a negative way, but to be like, you know what? I can cast a critical eye on the things I like. I can have a podcast about Star Trek, which is my favorite thing in the world, and in each episode talk about the things they could have done better socially, progressively, or like, that's a random example, but like, you know, like to see the comedians that they like and hold them to a higher standard. Like, I respect the fuck out of that about the younger generation, you know?
Like, nothing is sacred is, I think, a really healthy thing too, because traditions can do so much to hold you back. And like, I'm just gonna vote the way my parents voted. It's like, that is such a slippery slope. Like, do you just do everything they did in the past? Because there's been bad things in the past that we don't do anymore, you know, in modern society. Do you want to do those things? Like, you have to stand on your own 2 feet at some point. And it seems like these kids are doing it a lot earlier. Like, you know, having their big, like, rebellion moment as a freshman instead of maybe waiting until senior year when they're leaving the house anyway or whatever. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know much, like, statistics on it or anything. I've just been thinking about it a lot. And, like, how can I, you know, support those kids more or whatever? What can I do with my, like, creative stuff? Yeah, I don't know. Those kids are awesome.
Fuck yeah. Kids are awesome. Like, yeah, the shitty ones suck, but most of them,
they'll turn into a swan someday, maybe.
not where I was going with that, but you know what? Probably better than where I was going with that, so we'll leave it at that.
Cool. You having fun in SSN, by the way?
I think I am.
I like the carpeting. I wonder how thick the pile is on it. You know, what's this room smell like?
Yeah, the SSN's cool. You know what I always think of when I think of the SSN? It brings me back to the days. So when I first got Red and Blue, me and my brother growing up, my younger, technically stepbrother, we were like this growing up, and like we really got into, because he loved video games on every level, and I loved the characters and worlds that were present in the video games. And he not only loved video games on like a strategic gameplay level, but really was able to meet me on that level too, so we would have fun really getting into that. Before podcasts existed, I remember being like, because he didn't live with us, he would stay the weekends with us, and he'd be on the top bunk and I'd be on the bottom bunk, and my older brother got the top bunk, I had the bottom bunk, but it was bigger, so he would have to share the fucking bed with me.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. These details, to me, I'm like, oh no, I'm a writer. I must include this detail to paint the picture.
That is a different picture, though.
Got a
I'm there.
monologue. But we would like pre-podcasting. I remember being up all night after we were supposed to go to bed, talking about what if there was a class that taught video game physics, and so it'd be like we were taking like what it would be like to exist within a video game, basically like the YouTube, like the cutting edge YouTube sketch of 2007, you know. In 1996, and
Right.
me and him started our own Pokemon journals, where we would have a notebook that we would write our journals of our journey as we're going town to town, and we split up after Pallet Town, and then we met back up on the SS Anne, and we're comparing our teams. And
Oh
when
my god.
I don't know why, because we wrote so much in those journals, but that's always what like the SS Anne instantly brings me back to that.
I love that so much. What a great moment that is.
Thanks.
Yeah, dude, that's so cool. A lot of like kind of kids first RPG systems are largely that. Like write a journal, like what do you see? What do you hear? Like how does that make you feel? It's basically just a bunch of writing prompts you would get in English class, you know, that you are doing in a role-playing game, like a tabletop role-playing game, I mean. And so, like, for example, that there's a Pokemon one. I think it's called Pokemon Adventures or whatever. We talked about it in the Pokemon board games episode. But it's like the game master's guide. It's just like, ask the players what kind of Pokemon they see in this area. Ask them, you know, how do their Pokemon feel right now after this battle or whatever. And it's, I don't know, it's really cool. That journal is such a cool idea. I love that. I don't think everyone's brains work quite that way, but I think for those of us whose do, it's like, yeah, there's more than one of me. You know, there's other people who I can relate to, finally. Because this is the kind of stuff you wouldn't want to bring up in high school, you know, even with your friends. Because, yeah, I mean, your friends hopefully would be there for you on it, but yeah,
I mean,
it's kind of nerdy stuff.
You know half of them, so at this point.
That's so cool.
I
would have let you borrow my jacket, dude. I'm sorry. I was getting a little hot. I wish you had asked.
Have you seen I'm just gonna like redo other people's bits. Have you seen Wet Hot American Summer?
Yes, but it's been a couple years.
where he's cold and she's like, "Do you want to borrow my hoodie?" And he's like, "Actually, yes." She like gives him her hoodie, and then like he gives her his because she's cold now, and then they're passing anyway. All right.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Oh, such a brilliant fucking movie. So
it's a good movie. The show's pretty good too. Did you know there's a show of it now?
Yeah. Oh my God, it's brilliant. I wasn't a huge fan of the second season. It was okay. But, oh my God, the first season, fucking brilliant. Like, the first season is so good, it makes watching the whole thing great. But you have to watch the movie first. And then the first season of the show is a prequel. But you still have to watch the movie first. But anyway.
For sure.
Man.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, I also remember, like, having, like, sleepover parties. I didn't have any brothers growing up, so it was like that was my chance to like bond with some dudes, and we would always stay up super late, and then people would like start falling asleep, and then those of us who were still awake would just get more and more like into whatever conversation we were having.
Yes!
And like you'd kind of like drift off a little bit, and then someone would start talking about something cool, and then you'd like wake up again and be like, "Oh, what? They made a sequel to that movie? Like I didn't even know that." Like you'll just kind of tune out. It's like having a podcast on almost. Like you're just kind of tuning out to it. You're like falling asleep, and then you're like, "Oh wait, I can interact with this. I'm gonna come to again." Good times.
Me and Justin, because I like growing up. Justin was like we were like best friends, and his family they're my second family, and in his basement we fighting on fighting. In his basement, I would go over there for sleepovers all the time, like, just me and him, and it'd be me, him, and his little sister, and then at the end of the night, we'd sleep in his room in the basement, and we would trade off each time who gets the bed and who gets the floor. So if I slept on the floor last time, I get his bed this time.
Cool.
Man, it's been so long since I thought about all this. And we would draw because his dad put up, I don't know what you'd call it, fiber wall. I don't know. Like, he put up these like walls to make them each their own room in the basement when they moved into this house. And so he
like
let
a
us.
Divider.
Yeah, and he let us draw all over them. So we would just draw like characters. Like, me and Justin had this thing called Pudgymon that we drew growing up. And they were Justin's creation, but I created just as many of them as he did. But it was his baby.
That's really cool. Is it related to Pokemon at all?
Definitely inspired by monster battling, but the characters had this. They had the thing going on like Rayman does, where his hands are disconnected from his body.
Mm-hmm.
But they were small, like Kirby-style designs with like disconnected hands.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really fun.
We would make them out of Sculpey, and yeah, super cool. Fuck you.
That.
Fuck you. Karate chop that motherfucker.
Get him.
Fuck yo energy.
I like the sprites in this game a lot. They look really good.
Me too. I like,
Watch, I'm getting pumped.
Pump him up. I'm currently listening to, I haven't listened to it in years, but there's a Batman, radio play of Nightfall. It's 3 hours long, and it's actually pretty good for what it is. But there's a moment where Bane is like, I will find the Riddler, and when I find him, I will pump him up. And I'm like, did they really just make a Saturday Night Live reference?
That's so weird.
It has to be, right?
I don't know.
But what I do like is that Bane is Hispanic in it, because everybody always makes Bane white, because there's not enough. Like,
we need more white dude representation in media.
Right?
Ugh.
Do y'all prefer the old sprites that didn't move, or the newer ones that do? I mean, if I could get a combination, that would be great, but I prefer the old to the new. But I would love the old. I would love if we could take our technology now and do this, but make it cooler in ways that we couldn't have back then.
Well said. I like both, especially the first time seeing a new Pokemon. I'm excited about seeing them move and the way they animate. And I like seeing the backgrounds and stuff in the newer games. Like, seeing the world around is really cool and more immersive. Like, this is kind of an abstract thing. This is like Dragon Quest almost. But I love the sprite work. It's really beautiful. Fuck yeah.
By the way, Sam, want to do one of these Silph Radio lives with me? Hit me up, man. Get a hold of me.
Yeah.
We'll get you on. I'll get you on up there where that motherfucker is one of these days. It'd be pretty dope.
Somebody take this. Yeah, Heavy is the head that wears the crown up here, guys.
But yeah, if you guys want, like, Sam's fucking awesome. We did a really great episode on the region of Hoenn together. If you listen to our podcast, Fair Enough podcast, which it's not a video series like this, but you can find it on your favorite podcast app, Spotify, iTunes, whatever. I'm an old man. iTunes still exists in my head. He put in more work than I did for that episode. Educated me about Hoenn. It was fucking dope.
That's so cool. Did you say it was on Fair Enough?
Yeah, it was practically it was a Silph Radio episode, but it was on Fair Enough for some reason.
I don't know if I've listened to it then. I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, you really should. Like, dude, he brought his A game, man.
That's awesome. You know what I just discovered today is this website called Podchaser.
Yes.
And it kind of like IMDb, but for podcasts. Like, you can go to a show and see what other guests have been on there, where you can click on Nathan and like see every podcast he's ever hosted or been a guest on. And it's kind of cool because, like, I don't know, through podcasting you get to know a lot of people, and you don't always know what they've been doing or what their history is like, and you can kind of look it up a little bit. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I need to get involved more with that. I actually remember, because I love Reddit, and I was on there when the people who started that were like first beginning it. They like shared it with the podcasting subreddit and stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Hoenn was your generation growing up. Yeah. I think that's a lot of our listeners are from the Hoenn generation, which makes sense to me because like as somebody who as like the old man who appreciates the younger generation, the Hoenn generation's like right in between the old man in me and the young kid in me. Because I never had that in between phase. I just went from little kid to old man. And as a little kid, I was always part old man, and as an old man, I'm part little kid. Never a true adult.
Dude, yeah, I was a weird kid. I remembered this recently, like, my sisters and I we had a PlayStation 1, and we played Crash Bandicoot all the time. And it was primarily me making progress, getting more % of the game complete and everything. And then we would take turns whenever my sisters felt like playing. We'd kind of take turns, like, I'll play a level, you play a level, she'll play a level. And then it got to a point where, like, we had this level where you're riding on a tiger on the Great Wall of China, and, oh my god, wait.
Yeah, hold on. Hold on.
Is the audio?
Can I get a, Never was a cloudy day, Badia evolved into Weeping Bell, Badia, give Lieutenant Surge hell.
Hey, good rhyme. Well done, congratulations. But anyway, there's this level that they both loved, but we had already beaten it, and we'd already got all the stuff in that level. And then they would want to play it again, and it like offended me so greatly. Like, we already completed this level. We checked that box. We're on to the next level. Like, what are you doing going back to this previous level? And like, it's fun. I'm like, well, we're not just playing this for fun. Like, we're trying to beat this game. I had like such a productive mindset about it, where it's like, no, you play a video game to beat the video game. You're not there to like enjoy it. I was just a weird kid, I guess. Like, I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, you like as a kid, it's hard to internalize all that. Like, not internalize might not be the right word, but like compartmentalize. Like, okay, I'm playing a game, and I've been told the goal of this game is to accomplish this, and so, but the real goal of the game is to have fun. Like, that is actually the number one goal. But yeah, you still haven't quite like compartmentalized and like put that all together yet and been able to like balance like, yes, I'm trying to have fun and I'm trying to accomplish this, and like these things have to be, honestly, having fun has to take priority over that. Like, that is the goal that I'm actively pursuing. But if at any point I notice that that's distracting me from passively achieving the first goal, then I need to pick a different game.
Yeah, and that's how I am these days with mobile game. Like the first day I get tired of this game, it's out. Like, I'm not gonna play that game anymore. But yeah.
Steve says nothing's more frustrating than watching someone suck at a video game you're a beast at, which is why we're having trouble attracting new viewers to the live show.
I was just gonna say, you 5 must be extremely patient for watching this stream.
Yeah. Jesse for so long. Y'all know Steve. If you guys don't realize it, Hype Cheesehead in the chat is the guest host of Silph Radio, episode 4 about Pokemon Stadium, episode 25 about the red and green betas, and hopefully we've been talking for a while about doing another proper Silph Radio episode about fan-made ROM hacks, which we're hopefully going to do soon. Cool. And Steve, I would love to get you on the live show. So
that sounds awesome. Did you just pull those episode numbers like out of your head?
I remember those two because they're just so easy to remember because, well, episode 4, it's easy to remember because it was one of the very first episodes. I did Bulbasaur, Squirtle, Charmander, and then the very next thing I did after that was Steve, so it's easy to, and then 25 is just such a round number. So.
And it's Pikachu's number, and there's Pikachu's right behind you. Like, I get it.
Yeah, Pikachu's 1/8 of the way through the Pokedex, right?
Oh yeah, if you don't count Mew.
Which
for a while there, whenever it was someone's birthday, I would like make them something that had the Pokemon with that number. You know, as like, here's your happy birthday because it's your Raichu year this year or whatever. It was kind of fun. But now, since I don't remember if this was the stream I was on or another one. You talked about that artist who did all the kind of early, not all of it, but a lot of the really great Pokemon TCG artwork.
Kagemaru Himeno? Yeah, Kagemaru Himeno. I said this wasn't going to be a repeat of that episode, but I think I'm drinking faster than I think I am.
But I went on a deep dive looking up
here,
cool
hold on,
artwork.
Let me see. Hold on.
I don't know if you can see this in here.
Yeah, hold on. We're gonna okay, yeah, move it over a little bit. Oh my god, yes, I love that. And that's totally that's totally her art. Oh, you love the creepypasta episode. More creepypasta coming, for sure. Those are some of our favorites. Yeah, some of our favorites to do, and I can't believe that like so much time passes between the episodes. It always feels like we just did one. So like, yeah, I can't wait. There's definitely more creepypasta coming. Nerdy Paragon, tell us more about you. Where are you? What's your deal? Like, I'm curious if you don't mind me asking, like, about how old are you? When did you jump on? What's your generation with Pokemon? Chestoberry. Oh shoot, Andrew, where'd you go?
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yes. There we go.
I turned into a Rotom. Oh, there I am. Yeah, the creepypasta episodes were really cool. Yeah. You know what?
Fucking Craig, man.
I don't know. I've probably talked about this before on Silph Radio, but there was this podcast like forever ago, like 10 plus years ago, that was about Pokemon that I really got into, and then it just disappeared off the face of the earth. But they did an episode where they read H.P. Lovecraft stories, but in the Pokemon universe, and they changed all the locations, they changed the characters, they changed the monsters to be Pokemon. It was so cool. So I don't know, it'd just be kind of cool if you guys told like various either mythological kinds of horror stories or retold other horror movies in the Pokemon universe as like a quick little fan production kind of thing. Would be really fun.
Yeah, well, that's the great thing is like when it comes to Silph Radio, I have very specific like standards and considerations that I'm always like delicately balancing, and sometimes I'm wrong and I don't know if I'm right or not, and like so that's why there have been times where like I've had ideas I wasn't sure about, but then a guest host like you convinces me it's the right idea, and I realize Silph Radio is bigger than what I think it is. But what I'm saying is the great thing about having these new avenues now that I'm making this a full-time thing, I've got Silph Radio Live, which I'm trying to keep at least twice a week. I've got Fair Enough, which is once a week. Like, we have so many more opportunities to explore things like this that it makes me so excited, because in the past I'd be like, yeah, we got to talk about that, and I trust that one day we will, 4 years from now. Now I feel like it might be 4 weeks from now,
That's so cool. Yeah, the ability to innovate.
Life is a party, and it's kind of stressful. Life is right now, my life is like, it's like a party you're throwing in someone else's house. Like, it's mitigated by constant stress levels, but
Sure. Yeah, it's somebody else's wedding that you're planning. Oh god.
25, but I grew up only having passing knowledge of Pokemon because of religious upbringing. Around the hype of Sun and Moon, I dove headfirst into Pokemon, got all that I could, and gained a lot of Pokemon knowledge, and have been keeping up ever since. That's
cool.
Fucking A. Good on ya. And I find that curious. I'm assuming you're familiar with the podcast by your fervor for the show, which is so infinitely appreciated. But I like that. The religious dynamics are very interesting to me because I think Pokemon represents a lot of what I value spiritually. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that, but I do.
Stephen Colbert's book, I Am America and So Can You,
Love it.
has a definition of Shinto, which is like, it's basically Pokemon, which is not accurate, but it did make me laugh when I was like, in 10th grade. I was like, oh, I know what that is.
Right. Yeah, I love it. The problem I run into is like the problem the Buddha runs into, which is like the Buddha loves good company, so he always he's never able to like just drill it into his head that when he's gonna have a party he can't invite Jesus and Satan, that they're gonna start beefing and it's gonna ruin the party for everyone, and Buddha's gonna be like, damn, I love you both, like, can't you guys just get along or just go into 2 different rooms? And that's the problem I have,
That's the problem you have with religion?
With, I don't have any problems with religion, like, based on me and my life personally relating to religion, I do just fine. With relating to other people and their relations to religion, it's sort of like I make the mistake of inviting Jesus and Satan to all my parties, and I forget that they can't be in a room together.
Fair enough.
And then I'm like, why can't... And I understand why they can. Of course they can. It's fucking like... But I still just feel like, why can't y'all just fucking...
Can't we all just get along?
Then I get it. It's like asking a fucking... Anyway.
Dude, you know what might be fun for one of these is to make a compilation or find a compilation of like 90s church pastors talking about Pokemon, because there are so many funny videos out there of just like people being dead wrong about facts about Pokemon for one, but then also really grasping at straws about how this is the devil influencing your child. It's really entertaining stuff. I like ministers and like preachers and that kind of person a lot of the time. I like the way that they speak. I like their messages, but it's so funny when they're like, grasping at straws, trying to tie in some pop culture thing into their, ancient traditions. It's pretty funny stuff. So,
I agree. That will be a great fucking episode. I say will be because like you just gave me a wonderful suggestion, and that is absolutely happening. Thank you.
Sure.
You're going, loved your idea and and it's wholesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Aww.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, everyone having their own headcanon, I think, makes every fandom more fun. You don't have to fight about which one is canon because you choose and they choose, and we all just get along.
Right, and our headcanons are Venn diagrams. Like they're Venn diagrams. Like it's fine that they don't completely overlap. We can have fun talking about both the places where they overlap and the places where they differ. Like, it doesn't have to be a right or wrong, or it could even be right or wrong, but that doesn't have to be a threat or an impediment to the enjoyment level of the conversation. It could be like, well, I see it this way. Well, I see it this way. Like, it's great. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've been touching base with tons of my previous podcast guests because we're getting ready for the 4-year anniversary, which is coming up.
Wow.
And it's just been so cool, like, catching up with people. A lot of them I haven't talked to in, like, 2 years or something. And obviously 2020 is a heck of a year. And so it's just been kind of cool to kind of catch up briefly, but with someone who, we've both listened to each other's podcasts and like we know each other on a relatively deep and kind of creative level. It's not like we're just coworkers. It's kind of a little different from that. But it's been really cool today talking about that, like, because it's usually just a couple messages back and forth, how have you been kind of stuff. But they've been pretty honest about it. And it's been really cool to kind of see the positive spin that people are planning on getting out of 2020 for all of its, faults and issues. Like, so many people have kind of pointed out, like, it's made me more radicalized. It's made me more of a political person, or it's made me more outgoing about calling someone out for stuff. And it's like, those are all great things, I think. Like, maybe it's not as polite or whatever, but it's made people a little bit different, which can be a good thing, I think, especially if they're doing it intentionally and thoughtfully, and they're not just like getting mad and digging their head deeper underground. They're like looking at the world around them and learning from that and choosing a correct, path of a correct option going forward. So I don't know. It's been kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah, for me, it's been very much this very weird, like, both sides. Like, the highs have been very high, the lows have been very low. But all in all, I think it's projecting me forward into a better tomorrow. Now, whether or not the world's being projected forward to a better tomorrow, I can only do what I can do, and that's where I'm trying to keep my focus. So,
yeah. And I mean, if the world around you is all dark and gloomy, that just like means you're going to stand out more if you're a beacon of hope, or a good thing, a happy thing in the world.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Yeah, like you're saying, Nerdy Paragon, I love when people share their kind of their character backstory and stuff on Silph Radio. I think those are such cool details to hear people's inner story like that.
Yes. Now, you are a psychic type trainer, or are you a trainer who is also a psychic?
Ooh, and do those go hand in hand a lot of the time? I think
they do. They definitely do. But yeah. Oh, yes. Interesting. Okay, that's cool. You're the first person to send us in something with a bit of giving your trainer powers, and that's something that like 99% of the fan base would be like, power playing GTFO. But like, no, that's the captain. I'm definitely willing to entertain that idea because like the Pokemon world does present us with characters that are psychics, and I'd love to see how a person who's trying to roleplay a character like that handles it.
And think about this: if all of your Pokemon can read your mind, that's the same as being able to, project your thoughts into their head. If they're all reading your mind, then you can think something and they'll all hear it anyway. You're basically psychically linked, even though the connection only goes one way. You're acting as the commander there.
Have I explored this whole thing? Yeah, I see it more as an empathic thing than a legitimate mind reading, but I've been back here.
Could they tell what card you're thinking of?
See, like, that's what I mean. I don't know if they could do that. I'm not saying they can't. Like, psychic Pokemon, yes. I don't know. Other Pokemon, I wouldn't say they can't. I haven't been here yet, have I? No, I have, huh?
Dude, okay. We have an annual holiday party at work for all the architects in the area, and they brought in a mentalist this past year. It was the most mind-blowing thing ever. Like, I'm a fan of Magic because of the showmanship and the stealth that goes into it. Like, I really like Penn and Teller's Fool Us, for example. But having someone in front of you, like, it is so crazy the stuff that he did. His name's Chad Collier. You can hire him for parties and stuff in Indianapolis area. But he started talking to me, and he, like, during our conversation, he wrote down my name on a piece of paper, and he, like, scribbled something, and then he folded it in half and either put it in his pocket or handed it to me. I think he handed it to me. And then we're talking. He tells me to pick a number between 1 and 100, and I, being a math teacher formerly, was like 100. He'll never guess 100 because it's at the extreme. And then I open it up, and it says Andrew 100. And it just blew my mind. It was like the craziest thing. And I watched him do that for like 8 different people. And it was right every single time. It's just insane. I don't know.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't think I'm a believer, but I love whatever happened there. It was so cool.
It's interesting. I think it's complex, you know. Like I'm not a believer either. Like, and
Yeah.
I think most of those people are employing some form of trickery. However, I do think that there is a legitimate element to the universe like that, you know, and so like
Yeah.
I can't write it off, you know.
There's some kind of connection I think that can happen. Like my sister and my mom and I can always say what the other person is thinking, even if it's like really random, and I don't know why that is. It's just a weird thing.
Steve said he was shitting himself just as much as you were. Yeah, no, that is fascinating when that stuff happens. It really is.
It's wild.
Yeah, how often too that I've just seen moments where I'm thinking or saying something and then something in the world like instantly reflects it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There they go.
And it can be coincidences, you know, it totally could. Yeah, how are you just walking on the, you know, the dock of that ship? Wait, what's it called? The deck of that ship
Right.
when you're that big. So weird. Oh well. Bye, SSAN. There's so many like cool kind of serene moments in Pokemon games. Like that right there was really cool. Just the waves crashing and you just kind of looking out at the ocean. I used to always save my game at like a really like kind of romantic vista of some sort. Like I don't know why, because I was a nerd.
No, I like that. No, I definitely like that.
It's like that's where I would cut the episode of the anime of my Pokemon experience, would be looking out on this horizon, you know, next time on Pokemon.
Sure. All right. Well, I guess we got to find that spot to do that. How's my
Thanks,
team? We're probably not anywhere near being able to challenge Lieutenant Surge because there were a few close calls on that ship. So I need to do a little more training. I love my team, though.
Yeah.
My team's great. I've been putting a lot of effort into training Pancake, and to be honest, I don't know how long Pancake's gonna stay on the team, but ooh, let me get an item. What'd you find there, Pancake? Ooh, a PP up.
PPUP.
PPUP.
It's kind of like iCup. It's not. That's dumb. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, yeah. So.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So,
Are there psychic Pokemon in this area?
Drowsy,
I think
yes.
there's Drowsy, yeah.
But I already caught one, and I love it.
Yeah.
Like this, so like Drowsy, Sumatra, my Drowsy, Tete, my Mankey, and September, my Wartortle, are like. I love them. I'm falling in love with them already. To me, they're the core of my team right now. And then we got what? Badia, Pancake, and who's the sixth member? I feel so bad.
Don't remember.
Because Magikarp's in the daycare.
You said September already, right?
I did. So let's see. Valkamar, of course, the Pikachu.
Oh, yeah? Oh, that was a funny moment naming that one.
So, So I guess we've accomplished our goal for today, which was to make it through the SSN. Andrew, if you're interested, there was something I wanted to try with you, which we tried with Book on the, Aki on the last episode, and
Sure.
we could try with you, which I thought we might do as a fair share, but I don't know. I'm having a good time, and if you're, I mean, I kind of, you know, if you gotta call it quits soon, we can put it off for next time, or we can try.
I've got
it.
another half hour, 45 minutes in me.
All right.
Then I'm watching The Lost Boys.
Actually, you know what?
What's up?
We're gonna put it off because I want to do a full episode of this with you.
Okay.
Me and you could get a really good episode out of this.
Cool, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, so we'll put it off. But you're
Have
watching
you ever
The
thought
Lost
about
Boys.
recording your podcast live and then editing it?
Silph Radio, the main show?
Yeah, the main show. Like having people in the room. You might not even need to look at the chat, but maybe you could once in a while and then just have... I mean, I don't know. I've been thinking about doing that with Amusement Sparks. I don't know what it would add, if anything. It might just make me more nervous, but...
I have been thinking about doing a crossover episode, which is both a episode of Silph Radio Live and an episode of Silph Radio Pokemon Podcast. So the basic idea would be that it's not quite as casual as this show usually is because we are doing an actual Silph Radio. So we will be researching the topic, covering an actual topic in depth, but we won't have the benefit of editing that episode, and we'll have the chat in real time. So yes, I would like to maybe start doing things like that. When and how and if, I can't quite answer, but...
Yeah. Because I did a live episode at an online anime convention recently, and I just downloaded their Twitch video from the convention's feed, and I'm just like editing it like a podcast episode, and it's like, oh, why don't I just do this all the time? I don't know. I think it could be kind of fun.
And I think the difference there would be, is when I do it, I think if I do a live episode of the actual Silph Radio podcast, I don't think I'm going to edit it. I think I'm going to keep that as part of the appeal of like, this is a live episode unedited. But
yeah, I mean, there's not much editing you can do. Well, that's not exactly true. The first live episode I ever did was at a panel in person, so there was no way to edit. Like, if I coughed while my guest was talking, there was no way to edit that out because it was only one microphone capturing everything. So, but with this, you'd still be able to silence me when you're talking and all that stuff.
Ooh,
Fascinating.
I like that. Silence
I know you
people
do.
when I'm talking. That sounds great.
Just something I've been thinking about.
No, that's great. Blake, what's going on, man? Podcast is winding down, but it's good to see you in the chat, my friend. I wanted to go 3 live shows this week, and I only ended up doing 2, but hopefully next week we can make 3 happen. There was something...
Do you count Saturday and Sunday as part of your week? Oh, you're going apple picking on Sunday.
I'm going apple picking on Sunday. Saturday, we could make something happen Saturday. Why? You want a live stream?
Oh, I can't, but I just didn't want you to lose out on your dream coming true of getting 3 in.
So there is something that all right, Steve, I'll talk to you soon, man.
See you, Cheesehead.
Something that I was hoping I would be ready to do today, which I'm not ready to do yet. But and I wasn't planning on talking about it, and maybe Jameson has been encouraging me to do so, and I'll regret it like I regret everything about that fucking Jameson tinted episode. But I have a really fun idea for something that we're going to be building and then probably executing later on Silph Radio Live.
Wow.
We're going to be building a new region together, collaboratively, a new Pokemon region. This is an idea I've been nurturing and fostering behind the scenes in my own head for a while. I texted you about it long before Silph Radio Live, but very cryptically without telling you what I was talking about. But yeah, no, I'm going to have a map, and it's going to be an uncharted region, an uncharted Pokemon region. And you, the guest hosts of Silph Radio, are each going to have an opportunity to settle your own town somewhere on this map. Establish your town's culture, your gym leader, etc., and then eventually, I'm hoping we can run a sort of RP which I'll get more into that later. It's not going to be an exact D&D style, but similar. I have a really cool idea, which I'm refining and honing in on. But yeah, I'm really excited for this.
That is so good. Oh man, yeah, I'm stoked.
I've been holding back on you for so long. Yeah, Andrew had no idea I was about to drop something on him like this today.
I knew you were working on something kind of like that. Like you said, you've given me like cryptic clues over the last long time. And that's exciting. I like that several of these kind of things that were covered with a cloth are actually connected. So that sounds so
fun. Blake, I can't make any promises or anything, but if you want to contribute in some way, I will make sure that happens.
May I make a suggestion?
Sure.
One of my other friends who does a podcast is thinking about doing a role-playing one, and I made the same suggestion to him. Like, people who are like your diehard fans, you should let them create a non-player character, like an NPC, someone that you battle against or something like that. Just as like a minor, set dressing type of thing, like a minor character, but they either are that person or they are inspired by that person, or it's that person's OC from their own, headcanon. That kind of stuff would be kind of cool for Patreon people or, something like that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Like the patrons and all y'all motherfuckers that been in the chat every episode, like, you guys are the OGs, because this podcast, this series is going to get bigger because I am committed to making it happen. I'm saying 2, maybe 3 shows a week now, but the idea is to get to a point where I'm, yeah. This is my job now, man. So like, my plans is that this is going to be a lot bigger, and you guys will forever be remembered as the OGs. And that would be a really cool idea if you guys could maybe like establish an NPC that's set up somewhere in one of these towns after the region has been fleshed out and charted. And I'm really excited for this because like like the different phases of it, like it's gonna be a while before we ever play through it, but settling this landmass is gonna be just as fun as playing a game in the region once it's settled,
Yeah, and you can kind of make a game out of that too if you want to. Like, we can definitely talk about it later, but sometimes it's fun to watch how things evolve over like an actual play show, when things like, oh, well, that's canon now, that was cool, and seeing how the world evolves over time. I love that stuff.
Yeah, and maybe I can, like, as of now, I'm imagining it pretty loose without a lot of rules. Like, you'll see the map. You'll be able to pick where you want to set your settlement. We'll start workshopping what you're going to do there, and it's going to be pretty loose. And, like, I will be the judge and arbiter of, like, maybe not that, but what if you did it like this? But there's no, like, set limit of rules. But, like, it would be fun if I added more rules to make it more game-like, where maybe you could make developments to other people's towns, too, by, like you can't just go in there and straight up change them, but the fact that you've now introduced a town into this region has influenced it in some way,
That's rad.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this. I'm really excited to see where you guys take it. I was thinking, give someone the privilege of naming the region, which we could do, but we've said Uaven so many times on the podcast, to the extent where I've had people reach out to us and mention the term Uaven, like Uaven forms, the Uaven region, and that I almost think it's like this region should just be called Ueva. I don't know.
That's awesome. That is a really cool name. It fits. But you could also have a contest, on social media or something. Submit your ideas. No guarantees, but
Yeah.
You'll get a shout out or something.
The listeners can name it. Discuss amongst yourselves in the chat, in our Facebook comments, in the subreddit, wherever, and I'll give you heads up. Like, I'll be like, all right, guys, next Silph Radio Live, you better have an answer for me. Like,
And maybe after the first like episode of world building has happened. Do you think so that it like reflects the region instead of just being a really cool name?
Yeah, I should at least reveal the map first.
Cool. It does sound like Unova. Yeah, you're right, Blake.
Ueva does sound like Unova, yeah, no, I like this idea. I'm gonna, once I reveal the map, then the listeners, this is up to you guys. Like, you guys talk to each other, figure out what you like, and then whoever, like, I'll give a heads up where I'm like, look, this is when we are establishing it, like, show up for this show, or drop your thing, and like maybe we'll narrow it down as we approach there, where I'll be like, look, this is what it's narrowed down to, let me know, maybe we'll have a vote, I don't know, we'll figure it out. But either way, the listeners should name the region, and then the guest hosts will establish towns, and eventually we will have our own region.
That's so hot.
Yes. Now I think now the idea, it should be only Pokemon that currently exist, though, right? No new Pokemon, right?
I think so. I mean, that opens up so much more room of possibilities.
What, new Pokemon?
Yeah, like that would be almost too much, I think.
Okay, yeah. I agree. Like, and if I'm going to make up a whole generation of new Pokemon, I'm just going to write a book that I can actually sell.
Right, you're not going to call that Pokemon. Yeah. But maybe the mix of what species live, or
Blacktooth.
I know you have trouble with the issue. You have trouble with the word species here, but the different varieties of Pokemon that live on this continent could be something that evolves over time.
Right, no, they're species, but like, yeah, there are complications because Pokemon is a species too. Like, they don't know. Like, they don't know.
What they're doing.
Like, yeah, no, it's 10-year-olds establishing science in this universe, so.
Kids these days establishing science. Dude, that sounds so cool. That is such a Silph Radio thing.
Yes, I'm so excited, like, and just, I'm so, like, I probably wouldn't have told you had I not had these couple, what am I going back down here? These couple drinks, but I'm so glad I did, because it just made me so much more excited to actually do this.
I mean, and watching the chat, like, get hype is really cool, too.
Yes, awesome. I'm so glad you guys like the idea. And yeah, not having new Pokemon, to me, is what makes this a Pokemon thing. Like,
yeah.
We will do new configurations of Pokemon. Like, what will be the starter Pokemon of this region? What Pokemon will be available in what areas? Like, that will be new, but it will be using pieces that we already have been given to... It's like if we treated all the different elements of the Pokemon franchise as Lego pieces that we can now put together in our own way.
Wow.
Regional variants!
Oh! Yeah, that's the big reveal at the end of the first arc or something, is there's a regional variant?
No, thank you. That's great. That's the best fucking... I'm gonna make up regional variants. That's like the perfect compromise between like, I wish I could make up new Pokemon, but I don't want to, because then it wouldn't be what I want it to be. Yep. As much as I want to do that. Regional variants, that I'm comfortable taking that level of like, all right, there's a little bit of creative influence. I'm kind of making up Pokemon, but it's still within the realm of familiarity.
That's so cool. And I mean, there's so much stuff, even on Silph Radio episodes. I'm looking at like the past episodes, like the one we did with Phil about trainer classes, and the one we did about Pokemon board games and workshopping a Pokemon MMO. Like, those could all factor into this. Like, there's gold in them Nar Hills.
There's gold in Nar Hills.
We could come up with some really wild stuff.
Yeah, and with things like regional variants and what Pokemon are in what areas of the region, we could definitely have there be, like, you guys get to settle your own town. Like, that is something I'm hell-bent on, that I want each of the guest hosts to settle their own town. But maybe there could be other little things you could do where it's like, okay, now you get to do something else. You can choose. Do you want to A, populate a specific area with the type of Pokemon that are going to live there, and you get to determine what Pokemon are found there? Or B, create a new regional variant? Or C, something like that.
Yeah, you have like a kind of creative power, and you get to choose between a couple different options with it. That's cool.
Yes.
And those are things that you could kind of send that prompt to each like participant ahead of time, and then we all kind of come to the table with our stuff to reveal it to each other.
For the changes you're gonna make?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so that we have time to like think about it and not just do it all live.
Right. I think I want there to be a little bit of a balance between that. So like, because I want to develop a little bit like with you live, where like I don't want you to get too committed to a certain idea, because I want to develop it with you a little bit. Yeah. But at the same time, you are right. And I was thinking maybe a good compromise would be whoever has the privilege of going first doesn't have the privilege of prior knowledge and kind of has to come up with it in that episode. But then moving forward, I could just tell you like, hey man, it's going to be your turn to settle your town in the next live episode. So go ahead and check 1 hour and 30 minutes to 1 hour and 50 minutes to see what of the last episode, to see like what has already been established and what type of areas there are to settle. And then you can
That's so cool.
Start workshopping, and then
That's great, man.
Yes. It's going to be so fun. This is the fucking golden age of Silph Radio. Like, I'm so excited for these next few months. Like,
that's so cool. And like, that'd be a fun thing to watch on Twitch. Like, I would be so into that kind of stuff. I am into that kind of stuff, but it's just not with Silph Radio, which would be so much better.
I don't think I've ever been this excited for a winter.
Sure. Role-playing is a really good place to escape when you have no more daylight to enjoy when you get home from work.
Yeah.
So that's great.
And like as a kid, you had Christmas to look forward to, and we don't look forward to that as much as we did as kids. But like, with the position I'm in now, like, no, I'm very confident that I can make it through the winter, barring any unforeseen circumstances. And I have all this new stuff I'm going to be dedicating to my time to, not having the responsibility to somebody else. I think this outweighs how excited I was for Christmas presents as a kid. I don't think I've ever been this excited for a winter. We're going to do so many cool things this winter, guys. There's going to be so many new Silph Radio episodes. Like, it's going to be so great. Dude, I'm so glad you found this podcast too, man. You're awesome. Like, this podcast would not be the same to me without you there listening to it. So, like, I don't know if it makes any difference to the people listening that you're here, but it makes a difference to the person creating the podcast. So, that's enough for me, as self-centered as I am.
That's so cool. And yeah, that is like part of the joy of creation. Like, it can be exactly what you want it to be. Whereas the thing you're getting for Christmas is either something that's like something you'd always imagined, but it's the closest thing to it, or it's like just a thing you saw on TV. It's like, these things are more precious because you have more of a connection to it already, and you are going to be, putting energy into it, which feels really good to work on a creative project that's going to be your own gift. Like, that is such a cool thing. And a gift to your friends and your listeners, like your fans. It's awesome.
Yes. Yeah, like, honestly,
Wow.
I'm not even hype for actually playing a game in this region. I'm hyped to create it. Like, that's going to be so fun. And then I'll get hyped to play a game in it once I've seen it created, and I'm like, oh my god, this is such a cool region. All the possibilities that we can do here. Like, yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll talk more about this off mic, but dude, that's awesome. And I'm just excited to see what this Silph Radio version of a Pokemon game would be. You know, like it's almost like what we were talking about earlier of like a different way Pokemon could have evolved. What if it's through the lens of Silph Radio? You know, which is a different perspective.
That's great. That's great. I always wonder what like 7th grade me would think if I went back in time and I was like, dude, check it out. You have a radio show about Pokemon in the future. When you're 35, this is what you're doing with your life. And I'd be like, shut the fuck up. And I'd be like, nope, here you go. And he'd be like, okay, I don't get half these jokes, but
yeah, there's all these references to like things that hadn't happened yet, but the Pokemon content.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm really excited, and lots of cool stuff. I think we're gonna have the next episode out next week, and then from there, I'm hoping we can maintain the bi-weekly schedule from here on out. I think I'm caught up enough that hopefully we can. No promises. Like I'm doing the best I can. Like, excuse me. Rest assured. The reason that I can't be as consistent with release schedules is because I want shit to be good and I want to get the stuff to you as soon as I can. So like I want to be ahead of the game, but I don't want to make you guys wait for something that I've already edited in the interest of getting a regular schedule up. If I've got it up, if I'm done with it, I want you to hear it. You know? I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Because I do that sometimes. Like right now on Amusement Sparks, I have the next 3 episodes already recorded. And I don't know. It's just like I prioritize hitting a release schedule all the time, which isn't necessarily the right decision or anything. So yeah, for one of them, I'm just like, the next one was supposed to come out a little bit after Halloween, but I'm going to go ahead and bump it up and release it early on Halloween just because it's based on horror. So like, that'd be kind of fun. Like I've never done an early episode before, but I think that approach does make a lot of sense. Like you already did the work. Why not share it with your fans today instead of a week and a half from now?
Right. But I also like being a little ahead of the game too. So like, yeah. I'm working on getting that balance, and I'm getting closer and closer. And oh, I'm so excited. Yeah, I've got about 4 or 5 episodes ahead of time recorded. Working on editing the next one that I'm hoping to have up next week, which is going to be about all of the electric rodents with Myrm La Moufette. That's going to be really fun.
That's awesome. Oh,
yeah.
I love that. That's a great topic. Like, I'm excited for that.
What I really love about this one is it focuses a lot more on aesthetics than a lot of the other Pokemon explorations we have. Like, that's a big part of the electric rodents.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I have a question as a fan. Your last episode, I haven't listened to yet.
Oh, God.
Normally, I listen to them the day they come out, but then I read the topic and I was like, I'll wait. I'll watch it. I mean, I'll listen to it, but I haven't done it yet. Just because, I'm not a competitive battler at all. Is it worth listening to? What do you think? Sell me on it.
Nope, you wouldn't like it, and the only reason you wouldn't like it is because you're not a competitive battler. So maybe just avoid that one. Okay, I'm just kidding. The reason, the bit I was doing there was that I embarrassed myself in that episode. And
I got that from clues peppered throughout this stream.
I drank almost an entire one of these. Like a big fucking bottle of Jameson in that episode, Blake. Blake, why don't you explain to him what it was like from not me? Editing this episode was the most cringe-inducing, like embarrassing thing, knowing that I was putting this out there. Oh my God, like I got fucking wasted. But and that was really embarrassing for me personally. But
wow.
On getting Andre and Phil together was a big highlight for me because like they're 2 of my best friends, and I know from their hosting styles and from hanging out with them as friends that like getting them together on an episode of Silph Radio would just be so fun. And it was, and I really want to do that again. And I don't know if I want to drink that much on an episode again. But it's, I don't know, Blake in the chat, Blake told me it was a blast. He said he had a blast, and I was like, I'm glad to hear it because I was so embarrassed and cringing. And he was like, maybe for you, but for us, it was really fun. And I'm glad to hear that people still enjoyed it because all I could think was, oh.
Well, I will listen to it. I'm curious about that. Oh man. Hey, you're being open and you're sharing. You're being more social, lower inhibitions, and loosening up.
It was recorded in like April, like near the end of April, maybe, or maybe it was in May. But yeah, and it was the first time I had drank since Christmas, and I got wasted. So I got like, it was really weird because this was also at the beginning of quarantine. So like the next day, I had like phantom memories of walking Phil and Andre out of my house, but that didn't happen because it was all done over the computer. But like, I barely remembered the end of the podcast. I remembered ending it, and I remembered being out on my porch getting some fresh air afterwards. But I like could almost imagine walking Phil and Andre out of my house and saying goodbye because I'm just so used to something like that happening after a podcast. This was at the beginning of quarantine, but it didn't happen. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. Cool, man. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
This
but
has
yeah,
been a blast.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. This has been a blast. Part of me is like I could go all night, and part of me is like I need to get the fuck up off of here. But but this has been a blast. And we are preparing to do an episode soon, which you guys probably won't hear for a while, about Gym Leader Blaine, which I'm looking forward to.
Oh yeah, cool looking dude. I love his Pokemon trading card game trainer cards. Blaine's got a whole bunch of different stuff he's up to in that series. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I don't want you to spoil anything. Like, we always want to leave things, you know, virgin for when we have the conversation that it's like fresh, you know.
Yeah.
But what, like, maybe as a teaser, like, why Blaine? Like, is there a reason that you were interested in doing an episode about Blaine?
Yeah. He's depicted very differently in different media, I feel. And each of those kind of hints at, like, some really interesting stuff. Maybe some dark connections.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's so much to talk about. He's a great segue / tangent machine.
Dude, this is one of those moments where when you're thinking things and then you hear someone, like, because, okay, I asked you the question about Blaine, and then in my head, I went, the next question I'm going to ask him is going to be about Dark Andrew. And then you were like, he's like a really dark character, you know, he's very dark. And I was like, whoa, weird. And then I said something, and then in my head, I was like, all right, then, wait. No, I already forgot. Wait, what did you just say?
He's a segue and tangent.
Segue! Yeah, in my head I was like, whoa, how cool, because Andrew just set up the segue into Dark Andrew without me even needing to ask him to, because he just started setting up dark things, and as I was thinking that, you said, he's a segue and, is this the Jameson, or is this a fucking, like, Matrix?
I think it's a revelation. We just figured it out, man.
So, yeah.
Mission accomplished.
That said, like, you know, last episode, me and Brianna battled Dark Shaggy versus Dark Brianna. And I'm curious, putting you on the spot.
Oh, right here and now?
Dark Andrew, do you, if the answer is no, that's fine, but do you have any idea what's Dark Andrew's deal? Do you know, like, 1 or 2 Pokemon that he'd have, or what his deal would be? A dark version of Andrew from a different version of the Pokemon universe?
Okay, so yes, I'll give you a little tease, and then I'll have time to further develop the character for our next episode, maybe, or maybe our next stream.
Yeah, next stream, and then can we battle our teams? Dark Andrew versus Dark Shaggy?
I love that. I wasn't sure if that was going to be a recurring thing, but that's awesome. Gengar has always been one of my favorite Pokemon since I got the little toy that was translucent, and now I have 2 of them, and they're slightly different scales and slightly different colors, and I'm like, who made these? Why are they different? So cool.
One of them's a totem.
Maybe. But I really love Gengar, so I think that's going to be my starter, main, Pokemon best friend. Yeah, I like some kind of... I do have kind of a darker side. Like, I'm definitely an optimist and stuff, but I think a lot of that optimism comes from realizing how much darkness there is and why it's so important to be an optimist and to be a source of light in the world. Yeah, there's a lot of other metaphors we could talk about with light and darkness, right? But yeah, I think Dark Andrew is something I'm interested in exploring for sure.
I love it. Oh my god. I'm so fucking excited, man. Like, this really is a whole new era. And it's catching up with me, because I did have another question I was just about to ask you. And it dissipated right out of my mind.
Darkness, Gengar, metaphors, darkness.
Oh,
and light.
yeah! No, maybe, I don't know, maybe it wasn't. I think maybe what I was just thinking was that, listeners, why don't you guys, I want every listener, whether you've been present in the chat from the start, like these OGs I'm talking to, or if you're just a new listener that just found this on YouTube, reach out to me and tell me what Pokemon you want represented as a regional variant in this region, and I will try to make... I won't say I'll try. I'm assuming thousands of people aren't going to reach out to me. So whatever listeners reach out to me with a specific regional variant, I'll give that. And it'll be the family. So, like, if you say Spearow, it'll be Spearow and Fearow.
Sure.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't want you to tell me what type you want it to be. I want to surprise you with what type it's going to be. So I just want you to tell me what species Pokemon you want me to create a regional variant for, and then I'll determine what type it is.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's for the listeners. You get to settle your own town, so.
Yeah, no, I'm excited just for the fans, for the listeners. Nerdy Paragon's going to be sending you a message. That's so exciting.
Send the fuck away. Heck yes.
Dude, this is great.
Heck yes. If you're an OG, if I recognize you, send me 2.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah. You should know by now if I recognize you. And like yeah, Nerdy Paragon, I recognize you. So like, yeah, if I recognize you, send me 2. If I don't, send me 1.
Yeah, everybody's invited. Yeah.
Yeah, and be confident. Like, I know, I think Gyarados Thug, was it? Someone was like, oh, I messaged you a while back on Facebook. Excuse me, didn't think I'd remember him. I fucking remembered the fuck out of you. Be confident in yourself.
Well, it's hard to remember you don't want to assume people are going to recognize, like, your actual, given name that you use on Facebook and your Twitch name or whatever. Right. Like, I totally get that.
Right. I don't know. I'm just saying, don't be like, oh, he probably doesn't remember me. Like,
don't be bashful.
If you've reached out to me and it was a significant, I try to respond to people like, then I probably am going to recognize you. Doesn't matter. You send me 2, I'm not going to fight you on it and be like, I don't know who the fuck you are. Try to hurt your feelings and shit. Like,
what if you already have that one in the hopper? Would you tell them, like, oh, we're already working on that, you get another one? Or
maybe.
No.
Okay. Probably.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, probably.
Exciting to see how that'll evolve.
Ooh, so excited. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you betcha. I'm just level grinding and see, like, I'm at the phase right now where I'm like, I think we've hit the end, but I'm having such a good time I don't want to say goodbye.
Right? It's warm in the hot tub. You don't want to get out.
It is. So if you're cozy, I'm not going to kick you out.
Right?
But I don't want you to feel obligated to stay on with me.
Might be weird. I mean, I don't want to, like, let the team down, though. You know what I'm saying? But I do want to watch Lost Boys tonight.
Go watch Lost Boys.
Okay. Cool. Love you too, Nerdy Paragon. You guys are awesome. This has been a great stream. This has been really, like, chill and fun and super enjoyable. Plus, we got great news. It feels like Christmas is coming now. You know?
Thanks. That makes me so happy that you guys love this idea so much. And I even, like, I was already super stoked on it. And just bringing it up made me, like, 3 times more stoked on it. So, like, yeah. This is exciting. This is exciting. Welcome to the fucking golden age. So, yeah. Andrew, what's going on with Amusement Sparks? Anything of note?
I'd say, yeah. We just released Universal Monsters episode, which is a theme park. It's a theme park design show, if you're not familiar. We brainstorm a new theme park each episode. So this past Monday, Universal Monsters, Halloween dropping a couple days early is going to be horror in general as a genre turned into a theme park. Yeah, there's some exciting stuff coming down the pipeline. I've got an episode recorded about Wes Anderson films, which I'm a big fan of. Tokusatsu, the Japanese special effects genre, including Power Rangers and Godzilla type stuff.
Dude,
lots of goodies coming up.
When I saw that you had a Pokemon, or not Pokemon, when I saw that you had a Universal Monsters episode coming up, I was like, because I've been racking my brain trying to think of what do I want to do for the next Amusement Sparks.
And you texted me that before you knew it was Universal. You were like, how about Universal Monsters? I'm like, that's literally the next episode that's coming out.
No. You misinterpreted. I saw you posted it on, was it Reddit? I saw it somewhere where you were asking
you're right.
people.
I put it only on Reddit. Huh.
It was Reddit then. That's why, because I didn't tell you I saw it. And I was like, Universal Monsters. And yeah, it was me being like, I wish I thought of that. But with you saying that you're doing one just about horror conceptually, maybe what I need to do is step out of my box and get avant-garde and think about a weird conceptual theme park to do.
I like that idea. Some of the crazier episodes have been the ones with this guy Nick Robes on. We did an episode based on an entirely original IP that we made up on the episode as we were going. So it was like we were making up what the story is and what the world's like as we're designing a theme park of it. It was backwards. And then he also had the idea to do a Johnson & Johnson, a family company, as a theme park. Like, that dude's wild and has really amazing ideas. But they were both fun episodes. Like, they turned out actually being competent episodes. So yeah, I'm down for that. We can swing for the fences a little bit.
Now, how I know that you're because I know it's an all ages show.
True.
How out there do you go with because like you're doing a horror episode, so like now I don't want to do this. I'm gonna pick something that I 100,000,000% don't want to do. But just for an example, like let's say I suggested, I want to do a Texas Chainsaw Massacre park, but I'll keep my language fucking clean. Is that something you would approve?
Yeah, there's an attraction based on Texas Chainsaw Massacre in this next upcoming episode. So we don't show any gore. We don't, but it's a podcast anyway. We're just, we reference things that might not be family friendly, but the show itself is family friendly.
Okay.
You can review a Tarantino movie and not cuss while you're reviewing.
So I could do a Django park or a Beavis and Butthead park.
Yeah.
I don't want to do either of those things, but
for sure.
That said, if you're planning on doing either of those episodes, I do want to be in on those episodes. But
no, I love Django. I'm not super familiar with Beavis and Butthead, except that I kind of met a girlfriend the first time I ever watched that show. It was kind of a weird moment, but memorable. She became my girlfriend.
But memorable. Yeah, that butt was memorable.
More like memorable butt. Ayo. So I might need to do some research on Beavis and Butthead before that episode. But yeah, I'm down for that. I don't know if I would do... I mean, there's probably some topics that would be harder to do without being explicit. But yeah.
What's a good... All right. What's a good conceptual...
Concept?
Concept. Conceptual...
Well, I mean, if you want to do genres... well, we already did an episode on the shonen genre.
How
which was
controversial can we get? Well, by controversial, I just mean I love religion and theology and mythology, but people consider that taboo to discuss because it's like, oh, well, people actually believe that, so you can't talk about it.
You brought Jesus and Satan to the same party, and now you want to make a theme park with both of them?
Yeah, you can't talk about Jesus and Satan because people think they're real. Since when has that been a thing that I can't talk about things that people think are real?
We talk about Pokemon games, and Pokemon games are real. They exist.
I can't talk about pancakes?
And Nathan, actually, just to be pedantic, they know that they're real. From their perspective, it's not a thought, it's a belief.
So there's this girl named Faith, one of my friends. Wonderful person, very super Christian. I just recently found out that their sister's name is Hope. And it made me... I got a chuckle out of it. Not anything like condescending, but I think it's funny because it's like their sister's name is Faith. And their family's super Christian, but their name is Hope. So I could just see this thing where it's like, yeah, okay, sure, Mom. Yeah, they're both equal, sure. Oh, okay, Mom. So do you hope that Jesus is Lord, Mom?
Or do you have faith? That's pretty funny.
But I would love to... See, that's another one of my passions, though, is like religion. But like, I look at it in a way... that's a little bit irreverent, you know?
Right.
And like, but it's not like, it's not irreverent in the sense that it's not without reverence, because I do have reverence. So it's not actually, it's not a reverent, it's irreverent. It's like, at the same time though, I am sort of, you know, what people generally mean when they say irreverent, where it's like, I'm not worried about hurting people's feelings by making a joke about Jesus and Satan showing up to the same party.
I don't think that is off the table. I don't know if there's a ton of theme park potential. I guess there is, but I feel like
we do hell. We can call it heck.
Do hell. Dude, I mean, I just watched Dante's Inferno, an animated epic, a couple weeks ago, and that got me pretty stoked to literally thinking about hell as a theme park.
I would love to do that with you if we could do that.
Yeah, and that's a good way to explore religion, too, in an interesting way. Ooh, Hades might be a better word for it, because literally, heck. I'm so annoying. Oh, dude, heck is actually really iconic, too.
That would be really funny, just to be like, it's heck. It's the theme park. To be family-friendly, we called it heck.
Because H-E-double sippy straws is on my list of words that I censor out of the podcast, and so naming a theme park after it would be not work so good.
Yeah, but heck, I like that.
Heck is really good. And yeah, it could be an exploration of different cultures' depiction of the underworld. Oh, and then later we can do one that's about the afterlife in a positive way, you know,
Heaven,
like the wind state or whatever. The
wind state, WinCon.
That's not. What's the actual word for that? Like the kill screen?
Paradise.
Is that what it's called when you finish a video game? H-E double sippy straws is from The Simpsons. I think Ned Flanders says that. And it really got me. It really like spoke to my soul. Like sippy straw.
Yeah, I always heard H-E double hockey sticks.
Yeah, everyone says hockey sticks. That's so last year.
I think it's a little older than that.
No, yeah.
H-E double Klefki.
Aw. Wait.
Just go with
Klefki. Okay. Yes, sir. No, I like it. I love
A
it.
key is sort of shaped like an L, right?
There's no hockey stick Pokemon yet?
There's no hockey Pokemon, eh? When we gonna get our Canadian region? That's what I want.
I want to see a ghost type that looks like a hockey mask, and it's kind of, reference to Jason, but not 100%. It's also just a hockey guy.
It could be so great, don't you know? And I was just saying in just a couple episodes ago how much I wanted a moose Pokemon, and what a perfect region to introduce it in.
Yeah, why don't we have Canada?
Yeah.
Hey, maybe our next this new continent will just be called Canada. Canada.
Canada.
It's just pronounced a little different. It's spelled with a K.
No, that's not what I'm gonna base my new region on. It's not. But
you have a basis in mind already? Oh man. Stoked.
Vaguely, but I also just want it. Basing it on Canada would be too restrictive. But I do like this idea of, I would definitely be down to have this be another thing. There have been a few, I'm figuring out what Silph Radio Live is as we go. And I love that there's been a few projects that have become recurring topics of discussion through Silph Live. So like me and Brianna started this discussion about our Pokemon Cinematic Shared Universe. And we've got this discussion about a Pokemon TCG. Perhaps the Canadian region could be another discussion we could return to.
Oh, for sure.
All ice types.
For sure.
Every Pokemon in this region is at least type 2 ice,
And nice. They're all really nice, too.
Oh, and they're all nice type. That's the Pokemon category in the Pokédex. Nice Pokemon.
Oh, that's a nice one.
We here in the Canadian region, we put the A in Pokemon. Don't you know?
This is good. It's all gold. It's staying in.
It is. I really like that. We put the A in Pokemon. That's great.
Uh-huh. Solid. All right, gang. I think I'm going to get out of here.
All right.
The vampires are calling.
I'm going to get out of here, too, then. You have fun with your lost boys. And guys, thank you so much. Check out AmusementSparks.com. Check out SecretRoomMultimedia.com. You got another last chance there to tip me down below. We are accepting tips. This my job. And we will be back soon, maybe in a couple days. Maybe I'll try to do one tomorrow. And more coming soon. I don't need to waste your time. Andrew,
I want Pokemon waffles. Look at that floor. It looks so good.
Why isn't there a waffle Pokemon? Actually, it's funny. We talked about Pudgymon earlier.
Yeah.
Waffle Pudge was the main Pudgymon that I remember introducing into Pudgymon.
Dude, that would be a good topic for a live episode, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I hope Justin has the originals. If not, I got to dig them up. I might have the original pictures. But,
yeah, the first editions are worth more anyway.
Yeah, oh, my God. Because I remember going to the library and making Xerox copies so we could each have them. All right.
Oh, that's so cute.
You get to your vampires. Blake's not if I smell you first.
We can all smell each other on the next one.
Thanks, guys. I love you guys. You guys are fucking awesome. You are my lifeblood right now. And Andrew, so are you. Thank you. Bye, guys. Bye. Oh, I better save. All right. Have a wonderful night. Treat each other with dignity and respect, and listen to Amusement Sparks. Bye, guys.
Bye.